ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain.
What is that? Is that SpongeBob?
Oh my god! Is that SpongeBob? You just lost some major respect.
We don't have it here, okay? Shut up. We didn't have it.
You don't have SpongeBob in Ireland?
It doesn't even matter. It's a generational icon. Come on.
No, it's like not knowing what Pokemon is.
Okay, I did know that. But when I was a kid, basically the only TV stuff that we had was Scooby-Doo, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, a couple of other stuff that I don't remember. Oh, Courage the Cowardly Dog. God, I missed that one.
To be fair, I only know like 2 of those.
Aren't you older than me?
I regret everything.
I'm 20.
Damn it, I'm older. Fuck. Goddamn. I'm so used to everybody being older than me, and so I'm like, actually, yes, you.
Okay, the last thing I said.
Oh my god.
The last thing I said to you was, please watch your voice. You're screaming in the
Even Twabble. Oh no, David is in trouble.
Okay.
If I have to come back up,
He's been a very bad boy. It is punishment time for David.
Okay, so I gotta be a little bit quieter, guys.
you could just take off your headphones.
Okay. Center myself.
That's gonna be a fucking new meme. David's in trouble.
He's gonna pull it back on us.
I know.
Yeah, you guys are about to get in trouble.
I'm about to get TPK. Just me.
Your
entirely
HP
me.
is in trouble. Anyway.
Think about that next time you go to the gym, David.
Anyway.
Think about that.
David is just saying, I just want to run some D&D, man.
Let's just play some D&D, man. So, last session was our epic conclusion to the first primary arc of our hero's journey and the end of their time in Barad Baisa. As they know it, at least. During the calm before the storm of the great battle for the Dragonborn's freedom and homeland, Jadir was invited to take a walk with Kilkaroth. It was revealed in the temple that she was really his Rakshasa master, Gishrath, who murdered the royal family, pinning it on the humans, and took the form of Kilkaroth. Jadir and Gerald being critical keys to his rise and power. Unfortunately, an over-curious Rosemary was caught and found out about the whole thing. Gishrath paralyzed her and asked Jadir to bring her for consumption, to which Jadir reluctantly agreed to do, leaving her to be eaten alive by the fiend. Gerald, on the other hand, had an adventure of his own, retreating upwards into the underground to spend some time alone with his demon jester mask. Putting the mask on showed him visions of the same woman with a halfling child having recovered a mask with a different symbol on it, which Francesca later confirmed to be infernal for foolishness. It was in this vision that the woman put on the mask and was also revealed as being Agatha. The heroes met up after this in their separate emotional events and aided the Dragonborn in a massive battle to raid the upper ring in the royal citadel. The tower was taken and then the 2 of them returned to the temple. Francesca was still eating meat, and having successfully put a Rakshasa on the throne of Barad Baisa, the group set out from the city aflame on horseback, riding towards the stormy salt flats and the looming silhouette of Khasea. Welcome back.
I'm glad to be back.
So, is there anything you guys want to do during your first day on the road? You have yet to reach the storm and are traveling around a large, dry valley in between Barad Baisa and Khasea.
Kind of as we're technically riding a horse, aren't we? Yeah, we are all riding one horse.
You're on Stick the horse. Jadir is on Astrid.
Astrid the horse.
And Franchester is on Apollo.
Of course, he gets the Apollo.
Yeah.
They're the new type. New version. Typical Franchester move. No. Yeah, Gerald turns around and he's like, so, Jadir, what was it actually that, she talked to you about? Like, you didn't really go into much detail about it, if you may. If it's not too personal, of course. Just a bit odd, if you may. He kind of like looks for a moment, like looks at Franchester and like looks back. Of course, if it is in any way sort of a private matter, if the two of you are kind of,
No. Kilkalaf mainly said that we're open to take any of the things that may be left behind if there's a need for it. Went over some pressing matters about the attack and how we're going to resolve matters afterwards. It's a fairly uneventful affair.
Oh. Well, if you say so. Anyways, Francesca.
Yes?
Do you have any idea of when your other side takes over? Because I would kind of like to make sure that we're in a free, safe area that he doesn't jump off of.
Well, it's mid-afternoon now, so normally, as he tells me, when I go to sleep, he just comes out. He never forces his way out. I don't think he can do that. Though I assume when we make camp for night, he'll probably naturally come out on his own.
So, it might be smart for us to tie you down when you're sleeping, just so when he comes out, he doesn't sneak off.
Is he that bad?
Oh, sometimes he is like a child. You cannot hold that man away from anything that is food related either.
And Jadir's going to
That might
message.
explain my struggles with
simply-
weight loss.
Oh my god.
To be fair, yeah, he's been eating a lot of pies.
Oh god, I've been working so hard to keep sugar out of my diet.
Oh, trust me, he eats one pie by himself.
Oh my god.
Sometimes two.
Can you
Sorry.
guys tell him to not do this? I'm trying to get a
I
good
don't
form
think it
going.
would matter.
Well, think about it like this.
It's probably my fault as well. I've been the one buying the pie.
Oh my god. Jadir. Well,
He's a needy person.
this place doesn't look like it's gonna have a lot of pies out here, so I think we'll be okay.
Do you think he knows any demonistic rituals to summon pie?
Let's not
I
press
hope
him on
not.
that.
It would be very impressive, but very poor use of said power.
You guys probably know more about him than I do, honestly.
Oh, trust me, we would like to think that we know a lot about him, but he is as unpredictable as any wild animal.
It's not quite so bad. He's predictably unpredictable.
Do I have to remind you of the house that has been blown
Let's
up?
not.
You guys
He
make me
stole-
more and more ashamed of myself every day.
It's not you.
Well, it's the other side of you.
In any
But-
case, we don't necessarily have to tie him down. That might freak him out. I think simply taking turns on watch would suffice.
Probably a good idea.
Might be smart.
You could just
Hey,
talk to him, I suppose. But if he's as unreasonable as you say,
well, not
he
always.
might lie.
He's like, he kind of like ponders for a moment. He's like a teenager that is currently going through his adventure phase, if you may.
Jadir
I never
nods
had an
knowingly.
adventure phase. In fact, adventure has always been kind of intimidating. It's a wonder I'm even with you guys right now.
Well, granted,
It's really hot out here.
Well, yes, but think about it. Eventually, all that exercise is just going to make you, well... You kind of think for a moment? Well, think about it like this. You're going to be even more stacked than you are at that point.
Oh, I'm not worried about the physical challenge. It's more of the constant and imminent danger. And suddenly a flash of lightning streaks across the sky. And a gust of wind blows through the dry valley. Ominously.
You mean like that? You mean like that?
Yes, like that.
Oh, just ignore that. That's kind
Be
of like
still, Apollo.
It's kind of like a side thing, if you think about it. As long as you you have to know what to ignore and what to not ignore.
I feel like ignoring anything on an adventure is a recipe for disaster.
Oh, definitely, but it is
No,
definitely...
some things definitely ought to be ignored. Like demon jester masks.
What?
I feel like that is... depends on situation, but of course, you
That's
know.
oddly specific, Jadir.
I know, it is very specific, Jadir. Why would you bring
to
such a thing
illustrate
up?
what I speak of. I'm a very precise person.
What about, like, angel jester masks? Are those a common occurrence that should be ignored as well?
That would be very interesting, wouldn't it?
I've never seen one or heard of one.
I mean, it'd probably just be like a happy face with like a little halo over it.
But slightly mischievous.
I heard floating butterfly can become an elven wonder? Do you get wings? Could you put on an angel jester mask and have angel wings? Is that how that works?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, entirely so.
Wow, that's really cool, Gerald.
Just a defeated sigh. Look, can we focus on the adventure? Oh, look, scary lightning. Ooh.
Oh, yes. Yip yip Apollo.
I don't want to know what that man, like, phrasing is gonna be.
And the three of you guys kind of ride off out of this dry valley, and emerging you're entering the storm. The dryness of the dirt becomes splotched with patches of salt. The blue sky is beginning to be enveloped by an unending cyclone. The thick black clouds seem to drift in this circular motion about the center of the salt flat. You can see lightning flash inside of them, brighter than any lightning you've seen before, even from a distance. The clapping of thunder is as loud as a jet flying directly overhead. Ugh. What foul god cursed this land?
Well, you know, if you put aside all of that horrible imminent danger and death, it kind of looks artistic in a strange, very crude way.
I'm inclined to agree.
You guys are weird.
We've just been traveling quite a bit. Also, I appreciate this a lot more than giant birds that eat donkeys.
What?
I think in
Trust
the
me.
past. Hopefully.
Trust me, this is much better than the giant bird that eats donkeys. We barely got out of
I
that
hope
one
there aren't
alive.
any of those out here.
Well, there's giant lightning. Where is it?
Just kidding.
Immediately, like, readies up all weaponry. I'll avenge that. I will avenge thy donkey. No. But yes, as long as there's no donkey-eating birds, I think we should be fine. Plus, I think, if anything, I think this is the last place that a donkey-eating bird would come to.
Well, that's good. The skies don't look very good for flight.
No, they
Which-
don't.
As the wind is beginning to pick up and the horse manes are blowing off to the side along with all of your clothes.
But think on the bright side. That means we don't have to worry too much about this guy. Except for the...
Lightning.
Except for that thing. But to be fair, that goes so quickly, I don't think we can actively avoid it.
What's the worst thing that can happen?
Well, get struck by lightning, but, you know.
And
Quick question. How many of you can heal? Just out of curiosity.
I have a medicine kit.
He kind of like, all right, so as long as the two of us, points at himself and Francesca, don't get struck simultaneously by lightning, we have a way to safely pick someone up.
I don't know if I can treat third-degree burns with a medicine kit, but
Well, you can at least stabilize so they don't die immediately.
I can put a band-aid on it.
Well, you know, what's the worst that can happen with a, band-aid of life, I say. Also,
Jadir is very self-conscious about his horns at the moment.
At least they're not made of metal.
are they? They're
Would
not
you
made
like
of
to
metal.
try?
Well, we don't really have anything that's...
What does that mean? He takes like
Yeah.
a small metal rod like out of his pocket and goes like tink 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 on your horns.
Well, that's one way to do it, I guess. To be fair, I never really questioned the horns.
I'm starting to like the other Francesca more.
Oh,
Which is,
that's very
Yeah,
rude of you.
that is quite rude, actually.
You say this while poking me.
I was just testing if they were metal.
Well, think about it like this. At least he's only poking the outward of you, not the inside of you.
Yikes.
Does that
Oh,
happen?
yes, he was very handsy when it was inside him.
What? I'm
Just
not.
leave.
Just stay silent. I don't want to hear any more of this.
It's better because I think that's also Jadir's first time hearing it, because he got knocked unconscious. so it's just hearing like, oh yes, he was very handsy inside.
So it's been about 5 or 6 hours of riding across the salt flats at this point, and starting to get dark. You can see that you're probably about halfway to Khasea by now.
If there is a moment or like some kind of place for us to rest for the night, we would probably do so.
If you're going to rest for the night, it is going to be on an entirely open salt flat with no geographical unusualities at all.
Did anyone bring a shuffle? No, shovel, not a shuffle. That's a different thing. But if you can't do that,
Jadir, make a. You don't need to make a perception check for this. There's nothing obscuring this. This is a salt flat. You see what looks to be probably half a mile or so off to your right. A boat.
Are you seeing that too?
Is that a boat?
on land then, or?
Yeah, you guys are like easily at least like 30, 40 miles inland.
Well, it depends. Did the other Francesca
It's a
drug
big
our
boat.
water? Did
Hmm?
Did the other Francesca drug our water, perhaps, or?
Are we all having a shared hallucination?
It might be. Wouldn't be the first time.
Perhaps it's best to ignore it then. I don't know if these things
No.
are common for adventurers.
Did we just not ignore? Look, we'll go check it out.
What if
What
there's
if it's-
danger?
Well, of course there's going to be danger, and look around
And
you.
it's an opportunity.
What if there's something
Let's
living
go.
in there?
Look how big the
Then
boat
we'll
is.
kill it.
Okay, wait. I have an idea. what about we do
All right,
this?
he's like keeping his hand on his sword as you guys ride half a mile.
I recommend not doing that. I recommend don't do that. First of all, they might take it the wrong way. And second of all, if you are by any chance struck by lightning, that's just gonna make it worse.
Okay, I'll keep it sheathed for now. Thank you for your input, floating butterfly.
We're friends. Just call me Gerald.
Oh, Gerald, sorry.
Yes, thank you. I prefer that actually.
What's your last name?
Well, Gerald.
Wait, do you
No,
do you not have a last name for your character?
I do have it. I have it. It's just I had to look it up because I haven't looked.
I had to look it up like 17 sessions in.
Well, yes, it's Gerald Ed Yaman.
Ad Yaman.
Ed Yaman.
Would you like me to call you Mr. Ed Yaman?
Just Gerald is fine. We don't need any, unnecessary,
Okay, Gerald. I will call
Thank
you
you.
as such.
Thank you. Do you just want to be called Francesca? It would be kind of confusing to be Francesca and then Francesca other half.
You may call me Lieutenant Badul if you wish. Although, I suppose that title means little now.
We could call you Captain Badul.
Captain of what?
Captain of the adventure. Adventuring captain.
Let's. It's probably not. Francesca's
What?
fine.
It's a cool title. Think about it. You could introduce yourself as Captain Badul.
Oh, perhaps we could change up the name a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. You're currently on an adventure.
Close friends
What-
of mine once called me Franz.
Ooh. Is there a way we could make that either really, super
Before
cool
my
title?
life fell apart, now I don't have any close friends.
Yeah,
I
would
miss
say
them
that.
dearly.
Well, at one point I know I shouldn't feel offended, but I feel slightly offended.
That's not to say
I-
you guys aren't my friends. I don't know you very well.
Well, anyways, so how does? Ooh, you know what? Are you good with a sword, or are you better?
Of course I am. I'm a lieutenant for a reason.
Of course. So you could be like
Was.
Sword Saint Franz.
You can just call me Franz if you wish.
All right. Fair enough. Franz, it is.
No need for the drama. Feel like casually calling your companion Sword Saint Franz would get a little bit old and stale. It's a nice title though.
You can refer
I like
to
the
him as the
brainstorming.
floating butterfly. Why not
Yeah, but
call
that's his
you
name.
Sword Thing.
It's a little
It could
bit.
be your name as well.
Very well. You can call me Sword
Well-
Saint if you wish.
Can I just say, you're going to feel better about this. The other Francesca, or Francesca, not you, Franz, basically decided to call, well, we kind of have ended up calling Jadir Weasel Thigh Jadir.
Ah, a legendary name.
I know, it really just brings
What
vigor.
great weasel beast was slain by your thighs?
Gerald sees his shadow shift a little bit. There's just a claw that is somewhat emerging from it on the other side.
It's the meme of, I'm in danger.
Gentlemen, the boat.
Oh yes, we're almost there. What? Wow, look at this. And as you approach, you can see that this boat looks to be a very old wooden ship. Holes have just kind of naturally formed in the side. You can see dead, decayed barnacles along the side of the ship. The mast has completely fallen off as the ship has turned at like a 50-degree angle or so and wedged into a large crack in the salt flat. There is a major opening in the side of the boat, the opening is about a 8 by 8 foot or 8 foot diameter hole, and the ship itself is probably about 100 feet long.
Wow.
It's very dark inside.
How, looking at the wood, what kind of check would be required to see how long it's been rotting, basically? Like how old
You could
it is?
roll nature or history.
I think history would be better, perhaps. Perhaps. Well, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a tough roll either way, so I'll just roll a history. 13.
So, you're no expert on wood or medieval boats, but from just kind of your general eyeballing on how old this wood looks based on the kind of relative aging of whatever was growing on the side and your experience with slowly decaying wood and the low amount of what would be microbial life, not that you know what that is, in the salt flats. This wood probably appears to be well over 100 years old.
Well, it seems to have been here for a while at least. It's not something recently moved here.
In fact, you're not entirely sure it would be a stable environment to stay in given a significant enough force of pressure.
Wait,
That's it. The boat could collapse easier than it normally would given a large impact. It's not as structurally sound as it once was.
Are there spots around it where it's been hit by lightning?
There is one very large scorch mark near the bow of the boat, but it appears to be very faint, was probably struck more than 10 years ago.
So,
It created a really cool pattern down the side of the boat, though. Just like this black charred, cracks.
That's cool.
All right, let's go have a look inside.
Keep in mind, try not to touch anything, and if you can avoid it, this thing might collapse at any moment.
All right.
Should we draw weapons?
Kadir will step inside.
I think it's smart. Wait, it's either A, we call out and see if anybody's there, or B, go in, draw weapons, and if we find someone, we either kill them or we try to negotiate. Do we try? Do you want to call out? Wait,
Hello?
do you do that?
Do you call out hello?
Yes.
You hear a sudden loud shifting from inside the boat and the movement of wooden planks.
That is a sign to back off and get a proper distance on whatever is inside. I just back off until I'm 60 feet away from the opening.
No. Is anyone there?
You hear a very what sounds like something being dragged along a surface.
Is this coming from further within the innards of the ship? From
Yes.
Different compartment that we're not privy to?
You
Then,
can't see inside the entirety of the ship. Also, at this point, it begins to rain, slowly at first, and then more and more. While, as before, it was a dry thunder.
Kadir will creep up towards the noise.
You're creeping into the hole in the side of the boat?
Yeah, I was under the impression that I already stepped through, and
okay.
I am now doing my best to walk towards it and figure out where it's coming from.
Okay, so you have dark vision. So stepping into the boat, you can see that there is kind of this large tear in the side where cabins have been kind of stripped open naturally. You can see because you're inside like the hull of the boat. There's a series of cabins basically going through the side. This was obviously some sort of transportation vessel. And you can see as staring down this kind of long corridor, which is a series of holes punched through the side of these natural cabins with very old furnitures, a couple dusty cobwebs mixed with a bit of light mold. You see what looks to be a small tail slipping along the side of a wall. And there appears to be some sort of barb at the end.
I think I saw some kind of lizard.
Do you say that up loud, or are you whispering?
Yeah, I'm just turning around.
Lizard? Oh no. I think we've stumbled upon a dragon.
I'm kind of like, I'm not in the
I've
thing,
heard
I'm like-
legends of these creatures.
I'm like, so what did you find in there? Like, kind of half shouting in.
There's some kind of lizard in here.
Guys, I'm not sure we should be doing this.
Well, we could just bait it
Precisely
outside.
should be doing
Oh,
this.
but it's so wet. Oh.
Well, yes, it's raining. Also, you two are doing a fantastic job in there.
Jadir will continue moving up towards where he saw the lizard.
Okay, so creeping down this what would be a kind of like this weird corridor of just a series of holes punched through the sides of cabins. You're moving forward towards, it was about like 30 feet off where you saw this tail. Are you trying to be stealthy?
At this point, because we've yelled so much, no.
Okay. So walking forward, you can hear this kind of little sound as you approach, but you don't see anything.
I will continue creeping up until I see it.
Okay. You're moving forward. Francesca just nervously sweating. Gerald, Jadir, are you sure you want to do this?
Yes.
This creature sounds terrifying.
We need a place to sleep tonight. There's 3 of us and 1 of them.
Okay.
He says while I'm in the doorway sill of the hole, like, yes.
He's like clutching his violin.
No, not really clutching. I'm just like, it is dumb to go inside a thing that could collapse at any time with a creature inside it. I am not going inside unless I have to.
Jadir kind of shouts to the back of the ship with the hole in it, and a very terrified bard. Can you come over here?
As this like lizard thing just fumbles out towards you with these large claws and a hooked tail. It just starts just like galloping down the hall. With like this large, its entire face is this giant mouth of like rotating blades of teeth. Roll initiative.
I'm in the doorway, so I should just need to move to get in there. I hope.
Yeah, you're about 30 feet away from this
then
creature as it's coming towards, or 30 feet away from
I got a 7.
I got a 14.
14. I got a 12. Oh, and we got to roll for Francesca too. Francesca got, actually, I have a character sheet for Francesca.
Just a quick question. For the purposes of getting here, would the journey have counted as like a short rest or something? Because
You
I'm
would've-
still on like low
Oh.
HP from our
Yeah, you would
invasion.
have. I'll say you would be on a long rest since the invasion. You guys would have had time to take a break.
Yeah, that's lovely, actually.
All right, so I am not almost out of spell points and sorcery points and hit points.
Hey, I got 2 spells back.
This lizard thing flying down the hall, galloping towards you. Francesca steals his face and draws his long sword. "Stay back, foul beast!" Holding it forward as he attempts to strike at the creature, just barreling towards you guys. Just barely able to penetrate the scales, slashing into it. The creature screams out and rears up to strike at Francesca, about 15 feet in front of you, Jadir. Gerald, what are you doing?
I run inside. Has anyone got hit yet?
The lizard got hit by Francesca's sword.
Yeah, for a second I thought, okay, I run in. So you said this thing has like just a razor mouth, basically,
Yeah.
like a hole of mouth.
It almost reminds you of like a purple worm mouth.
I kind of just run and go, "Oh shit! What the fuck is that?" And that is my vicious mockery.
Okay. That's a wisdom save?
Yeah, that is an unconscious vicious mockery. Just like, oh my god, it's so hideous.
That is a 11.
That fails. So it has a disadvantage on next attack roll.
All right. And does it take any damage?
It takes 1d4. No, sorry, 2d4, because I'm level 6. It takes a total of 3 damage.
Nice.
Emotional damage.
The creature kind of rears back, but you distract it with your yelling out words as it strikes at Francesca with disadvantage.
Woohoo! Gets 2 crits.
It would have been like a 26, but instead it is a 15, barely missing Francesca as it bounces off his shield.
Woohoo! This is
Jadir,
mockery.
it's your turn.
Jadir is going to call out Ace. The shadows in the dark hull all coalesce into the form of a shadowy hound that emerges right next to the lizard creature. Ace gets 20 on his initiative.
Ooh, very nice.
And then Jadir will throw a firebolt at the thing and crit.
Oh!
That is 16 plus 18 fire damage.
16 plus 18 fire damage, so that's 34.
I know, right? 34 fire damage, yeah.
So you open up your hand and just like a professional MLB player, you chuck this fireball straight at the lizard, which just smacks into the side, blasting it with like this scorch blast on its shoulder. It appears the blast is less effective than it should be, but it still does a significant chunk of damage.
Is Francesca looking like he's in trouble?
He looks terrified, but as far as hit points are concerned, he seems to be okay.
I think Jadir's going to inch forward and not get directly in melee range, but it's about 20 feet off of the gaping maw.
Okay.
And we'll end there.
That it would go to your hound's turn. Ace is up.
Ace is up, okay. In that case, Ace will make sure that he's right next to the bloody thing, and will take a bite with advantage. And also crit because of advantage.
Oh my god.
Yes. So,
No.
No, you had to ruin it. This is his cool Shadow Hound moment. It's not Om Nom Nom.
No, I'm just thinking about it like he has critted so many times, so this poor thing.
Well, it's only because of the pack tactics that the Hound has. But he gets a 24, and the creature has to succeed on a DC 13 strength save.
Ooh.
That is so strong.
Man, this is awesome.
It is awesome.
That is a 15 for strength saving throw.
All right, he is not knocked prone. And A stays there, silent and menacing.
Your Shadow Hound leaps forward, just scratching his teeth and pouncing on this lizard, which is just reeling around, panicked and flustered and furious, purely feral instincts, as Franchester moves to lash out with his longsword. Oh my god, that's a crit! You guys are destroying this thing! Franchester is just like, away! And stabs his sword forward, just penetrating directly into the throat of this, just like right into like the twisting maw of bladed teeth. Just black bile blood just spurting forth, spraying Franchester in the face.
He truly is the sword saint.
For 10 points of piercing damage. Alright, Gerald, you're up.
Is the creature surrounded right now?
It currently is being flanked by the Shadow Hound and Franchester.
So you would say like it is.
And you're in a hallway, so well, actually no, you're in one of these. The battle is currently taking place in one of the cabins with just like a bed that's just been turned over on its side, very old bookshelves with decayed, dusted books knocked over on the side. There's just old furniture decorating what would have been this chamber, but everything has been pretty not erased, faded by time.
Yeah. So,
And probably like a 10 by 10 space.
is it bloodied? Any chance?
Not a 10 by 10 space, like a 15 by 15.
No, I'm talking
Is
about is
the-
the creature bloody?
Is the creature? It looks. What's the technical definition of bloodied? Is that less than half?
Yeah, basically.
Bloodied is 50% or less.
He looks to be not quite there yet.
Okay, then since it looks like it is currently being forced to deal with, I want to cast Cloud of Daggers right on top of it.
All right.
So you fill the air with spinning daggers in a cube 5 feet on each side, centered on a point you choose within range. A creature takes 4d4 slashing damage when it enters the spell area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there. So technically, if I'm casting on it, is it entering it?
No, it would start its turn there though,
Yeah.
which
So
it
that's
goes
what
immediately after you. Okay, so you cast Cloud of Daggers.
The influence that Ace has also gives the creature disadvantage on spell saves, like saving throws against the cloud.
Is that a dex save?
I don't think there is a save against this, actually.
It's just like a.
Oh, it's
You
just
just
keep it
pick-
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just
You
an
just
aura.
take damage if you are in this area.
Yeah, this kind
or
of
effort.
these like phantom daggers just moving about in like this vortex around where the lizard creature is. Which just when it starts its turn there, just like these blades are just like slicing into its scales. Just like, "Ah!"
And I'd like to shout, "Don't let it leave the area! Keep it in there!"
Right, roll damage for your daggers.
It's gonna do like fuck all damage, knowing my luck. Let's see. I rolled 9 damage.
9 damage. Very nice. Okay. it is going to use its serrated teeth to slash into Franchester, or attempt to. Missing horribly and drilling into the bed in the side, just laying around on the floor instead. And then it whips its tail around to attack the creature behind it, swinging at Ace. And that is a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that's going to hit.
Poor Ace.
Ooh, very nice. Ace takes 17 points of piercing damage as the tail just whips through its shadowy form, bleeding a spout of shadow in its wake.
Thank God for temp HP on Ace. He's still not bloodied.
Jadir, you're up.
Well, as my firebolts were ineffective, and I want to keep the bugger in the right place, I'm going to cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp. The bugger is going to have to make a strength save with disadvantage.
Well, that's really good for the first one. Oh, second one is a 9.
Well, he'll take 10 bludgeoning damage as he's basically flanked on one side by Franchester and Ace, and then held in place under the cloud of daggers by the grasping shadows.
And you guys are OP. Franchester whacking him while you hold him in place in a cloud of daggers.
Oh my god.
Ace is up.
Well, Ace will also attack with advantage. Critting again.
Oh my god!
I'm so sorry, man. This is only 17 piercing damage.
Only 17
17.
piercing damage.
Just 17, you know.
The creature is heavily bloodied now, just like black ooze just like leaking out of its scales, like pouring down the side of its body from the...
Wait, is it...
He'll also have to make a strength save.
Oh, yes. Who could forget?
Oh
is that
God.
with disadvantage?
No, only spells, unfortunately.
Okay. That is a natural 1 for his strength saving throw.
He is also
You guys
not
using
prone.
all your luck on one battle.
I know, right?
I technically
So
just
now
used
he's
one-
knocked prone, held by the claw in your cloud of daggers, while Ace and Franchester tear him apart.
This is just mean. This is just absolutely mean. There's nothing else about it. It's just
Franchester
mean.
is going to attempt to reach around and stab him through the head with his long sword. Not quite able to penetrate the scales.
He
Going
has,
off the side.
he has
Oh,
advantage?
he has advantage. Never mind. Penetrating the scales, tearing into his flesh vigorously.
That dog is strong. That is a strong
For
guy.
9 points of piercing damage. Just like completely cleaving off a chunk of flesh. Just black ooze just flowing out of it like a very slow mudslide. It is Gerald's turn.
Honestly, it's still being blendered, and I'm focusing on that because that requires concentration.
Yeah, but you can still...
Yeah, I know, cantrip.
Yeah.
So vicious mockery. Just
Also have disadvantage on that.
Ah, yes.
just
That is a...
Just- die,
10.
please. 10. Yeah, it is viciously mocked while being in a blade of deck. This creature could not have a worse day.
Alright, he's going to attempt to...
You take the form of the
Oh,
vicious
that's right.
mockery. 3
Vicious-
damage again.
I forgot Vicious Mockery did damage, sorry.
I know. It does such minuscule damage. That is 3. And you said it's its turn, right?
Yeah, so attacks from prone are done with disadvantage, I believe.
I think immediately on its next turn, though, it takes again damage from the Cloud of Daggers.
Yes, he does. You might kill him.
Cloud of Daggers, that's another 1d4. I feel bad for this thing.
I don't. Have you seen his teeth?
5. That's another 5 on top of
5
that.
damage. The dagger is continuing to pierce through him. This blender vortex of blade and daggers.
Is
The
it still
creature-
alive?
It is still alive. It swings out at Francesca again with just trying to... with double disadvantage, which is just disadvantage -1. Wait, have I talked about that homebrew rule with you guys? I did,
No,
didn't
yeah.
I?
You have.
Yeah, so the way I rule double plus advantage is you get advantage, and then for every additional advantage or disadvantage you have, it would be plus or -1. So if you have double disadvantage, it's disadvantage -1.
I just wanted to stack a disadvantage in case it had anything with an advantage on.
Even with disadvantage -1, the blades are able to pierce into Francesca's boot and begin slowly just like blendering his boot and sucking him into the bladed teeth for 19 points of slashing damage into Francesca's
Oh, man.
boot, which is just getting completely annihilated in this
Oh my God.
spinning vortex of blades.
Sword Saint.
The Sword Saint. It is then going to use its tail to attack the creature behind it. At disadvantage once more, horribly missing, and slamming to the tail into the side of the wall, knocking loose a chunk of wood from the wall. The part of the boat actually just like collapsing in on itself. One of the rooms goes completely concave off to the side.
As it does.
Jadir. Poor
Jadir
creature.
will squeeze the bugger. He'll have to make a strength save
With disadvantage.
with disadvantage.
That's a natural 1.
Well, he's going to be squeezed for 7 points.
For 7 points of damage. You
Yeah.
you with all of your shadowy might, you squeeze the creature with this hand, like, you know those toys where you squeeze them and the bubble pops out.
Oh no!
It's like that, as this bubble of black bile just bursts out from the side, like this massive water balloon explosion splatting against the side of the cabin, just dripping it. It looks like some sort of piece of strange abstract art as this lizard lays dead on the ground, the blade slowly spinning down and coming to a stop.
I just kind of
Looking at the Pollock painting that is Francesca. How does he look?
Oh my god, my foot! Oh! Help!
Hold still! I cast Cure Wounds 2nd level on him. Cure Wounds 2nd level on him.
His lower lip is trembling. It appears he, despite his extensive combat training, he has yet to ever actually go into combat.
So he heals for
Oh, you did so well.
13 damage. He heals 13.
I deal 13 damage to him.
Healing damage. I heal 13 damage.
Like Jadir's fists.
Yeah. It's forcefully healing him.
Alright, you place your hands and the flesh begins to mend as the wounds caused by these rotating blades slowly close in on themselves and stitch themselves back together.
Look, it's
It
all
feels
like
a lot
just
better,
bad-
but it still hurts.
Well, yes, you just got cut. I can't really stop the pain, but you know.
Do you
you
guys
did
have
really
to deal
well.
with this kind of stuff all the time?
Oh yes, I almost
But
got eaten
not
by a
that specific thing. But sort of, yes.
Oh,
Well, yes.
gods.
Wait, have you not been stabbed yet?
No!
Uh,
Why would I be stabbed? That wasn't a part of training.
They really
Well,
train
you would
poorly.
assume that the Dragonborn you were overseeing would rebel at some point.
Sword Saint Franz could have handled any dragonborn. This is no dragonborn. This is a mighty full-fledged dragon that we have slain.
Can I do a history check on this thing just to see what it is, or
Yes.
would that be a nature check? Depends. Is it a? I don't think it's a beast.
You can do a nature check.
Doesn't
or-
really matter. I'll do
yeah.
nature. Nature 2.
You have
gotta-
no idea what this is, but it is not anything you've seen before.
It looks like a lizard with a lot of knives in its mouth.
Upon closer inspection, I will say though, you notice that the features of this weird creature do not seem something normal. It appears to have lots of just things that shouldn't be there. It makes you uncomfortable looking at whatever remains of this creature. It has just
Could I?
Yeah. What?
Could I inspect it, because I think that it's weird?
Yes.
Sort of determining if there's anything magical going on with it.
Yeah.
Fishing for an Arcana roll here.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, I kind of turn to Franz and I'm like, well, it's not a dragon. I'll tell you that.
14.
much.
14. You're not sure if it's through any means of magical transmutation per se, but there are certainly some horrible disfigurements and mutations on this creature. Perhaps it was something entirely different once upon a time. Something magical happened to it, though you're not certain if that was the whole story.
Meanwhile, I'm like, so Franz, if this would have been a dragon, we pretty much wouldn't be alive right now.
We just slayed a dragon. What are you talking about?
No, that is.
This
not a
must
dragon.
be the mightiest creature in all the land.
Did it spew fire or
It
ice?
doesn't have wings.
And it doesn't have wings.
It's a cousin of the dragons.
Well, you're right and you're wrong at the same time. It is a lizard-like thing, so it must be somewhat related.
Academia aside,
Do legends speak of this creature?
The blender lizard. No? No. All
I
right. No.
don't think that the name's not going to catch on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think people will listen to the blender lizard. No.
The Blenderinator!
I have invented the Blenderinator!
How does the ship look structurally speaking?
The part that got struck quite forcefully by the tail of this lizard has crumbled and kind of collapsed into this pile of wood, but the parts that have not been struck or impacted severely look structurally sound enough, assuming nothing else major strikes the boat. I mean,
Like
it's
a
probably
lightning.
held up for at least 100 years, so what's one more night, right?
Famous last words.
All right. In that case, I'm going to ask Ace to investigate the ship with me.
You
Meanwhile,
got
I'm
it,
like,
boss!
oh my god,
Just
that
kidding.
can't
Please.
be its voice.
Wait, is Ace intelligent? Like, does he speak?
I don't think they can.
No, I don't believe so.
I think they're just this kind of like silent servant thing.
Yes, so
Barks.
just this low kind of understanding.
Intelligence 3.
Oh, never mind.
Brr.
You don't. It doesn't seem to understand particularly what you're saying, but it seems to kind of detect the link between you and sense your motives and commands for it, and follows to do as you say.
Meanwhile, I'm like at the lizard. So you're going to have to get used to this. I open its mouth and to show where like piece of his own flesh went in. That is your own flesh, by the way. You're going to be seeing a lot of this kind of stuff.
That's so considerate.
That on your leg is new flesh. So don't be worried about it. We can do this numerous amount of times. Just get used to seeing bits of you flying off every now and then.
Do you need another demonstration?
Can you, what was that spell you cast on me earlier that made me feel all better? I could really use some of that right now. My anxiety is, please help.
I kind of look at Finn, Jadir. I almost said Finn. Jadir, are we going to be resting soon?
I just want to explore the place a little bit.
Yeah. All right. He kind of looks at him. Well, I can do this, and I kind of just. You're only getting this one. I cast calm emotion. Just don't resist. Calm emotion on him.
He kind of leans back. Thank you. I feel so much better now.
I'm starting to think that this match spell has an addictiveness to it. I'm a bit concerned.
No, it's not addictive. I just feel better.
Oh, that's good to know. I was a bit concerned because.
Could you cast this on me like every day?
I think that can have bad side effects.
Like what?
I'm not too.
It helps with my anxiety.
Well, I've never tried.
As this conversation is happening, Jadir and Ace are exploring the ship. You're walking through these cabin rooms with your shadowy hound by your side.
I also kind of want to bring in the horses inside the hull.
You bring the horses into the hull and tie them up around the entrance area near the side. Since the start of the battle, since you've entered the ship, probably only 2 minutes have passed, but as the rain is now pouring down outside with this force that you have never experienced, like the strongest rainstorm in all your life, it's dripping down the sides of the boat in this wave of water. You see trickles of streams down the hole in the side of the boat, flooding out into the salt flats and slowly disappearing into all of these cracks that are acting almost like gutters that the water is flowing through.
I kind of just we didn't really have to take shelter here.
No, but aren't you glad that we are?
I kind of I know the spell Tiny Hut.
I don't know what that is.
It basically nullifies the environment completely and making it warm and safe in there. And nothing that I don't let in can keep. And actually, we are actually just enough where we can put the horses and ourselves in.
And you didn't tell...
Well, you were very excited.
Why didn't you do this before?
He was
Gerald,
really
do you know what this creature just did to me? This is your fault! Sorry, no, he doesn't say that. He has calm emotions. He says, Gerald, I would really appreciate it if next time you would let us know about these things in advance. When you don't tell us and my foot gets annihilated by a spinning vortex of blade teeth, that hurts my feelings and makes me feel sad. Because it hurts.
Of course, and I didn't mean to. It's just you guys were very excited. I tried, that's why I asked about the shovel. But you guys were very interested in the boat, so I didn't get to finish my thought.
Well, look on the bright side. Now we know that there are weird creatures around.
I'm just more surprised that I didn't get to finish my sentence. I was like, oh, well, we can dig a flat area and make tiny hut. And before I finished, you were like, boat! Well, it is a nice-looking boat, I guess. Even aside from all the rotting and... Well, perhaps there's some treasure in here.
It looks like it was, once upon a time, a very nice boat.
By the way, have you searched the entire thing?
No, not yet.
Well, Franz, you might actually get lucky because, well, old things like this, if it's not already scavenged, might have ancient stuff in it. Also, I will tell you this: calm emotion only lasts for 1 minute.
Oh, okay. The calm emotion wears off, but the wave of calmness that rushed over him, it changed his mindset from one of anxiety to, an object in motion tends to stay in the motion, and it's the same for his emotion.
I have turned him addicted to this drug.
So you guys exploring the ship?
Yeah, as I'm somewhat worried about the extent of the hive mind and its influence on the citizenry of the region.
So,
Wait. They didn't follow me, did they?
what didn't follow?
I'm pretty sure their city burning to the ground is somewhat of a pressing concern.
Yeah.
Oh, that's side thing. I was more concerned. Wait, no, they didn't follow me. Like, they're like, we saw him leave the city. Let's go after him. Just like, no. That would be horrendous. Because I have tiny hunt. I
only have
giant
Ace for
hunt.
10 minutes, by the way.
So, you still have plenty of time to explore the ship. With Ace by your side, you move through these cabins. Most of these are fairly bland. It's kind of like very what you would imagine like Titanic-esque. There's a lot of just rooms meant to house people. You pass through a storage room which has all the crates have just decayed into nothing. Searching through the crates, you can see that there was probably once some food in here. You do find several crates that were filled with weapons, some very old, rusted weapons through these several crates. In another room, you find there is what looks to be the captain's quarters, and there is one feature. So it's much more well decorated. There is a very old painting with kind of mold growing around the edges of a female figure whose eyes have just been covered by growing mold that comes down to her nose. There is a desk at the forefront of the room with several closed drawers, one of them appearing to be locked.
Did you say you had a shovel?
Well, okay, before you do that, I do have lockpicks.
All right. A man of many talents, it would seem.
It's not really many talents, it's just, well, once you get handy with knives, it's slowly.
All right, well, get handy then.
Sure. Quick question. If I'm not proficient in thieves' tools, because I don't think I am, do I get a disadvantage? Or is it just not with my proficiency then?
You just don't have your proficiency.
All right. That's a lot nicer than... Let's see. So I can just roll a dexterity check.
Oh, wait, you're not proficient with thieves' tools.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh,
So
sorry.
is
Then
it-
yes, it would be a disadvantage.
Yeah. But it's a disadvantage with a high check, so... So I just roll a dexterity check with a disadvantage. That's a 3.
So you go to insert your thieves' tools into the lock at the very bottom of this desk, and you're not very experienced with lock picking, but it appears that the amount of water damage and age done to this box is to such an extent that you would be surprised if even if you had the key, the lock would open.
Well, not my expertise on this one, but I don't think this thing is going to be opened even with the proper key.
Give me the shovel. Let's bust it open.
Who had the shovel again? I asked if anybody had a shovel, because I didn't have a shovel. I asked this as, does anyone have a shovel? I didn't say, I have a shovel.
Do you have a shovel, Jadir?
I do not. I have a quarterstaff.
I don't have a shovel, I'm sorry.
Wow, the only tool that we didn't really bring that might have been really useful. We should put a memo on this next time.
All right. Jadir takes out a dagger
I have
and
a
tries to wedge
papaya.
it.
Papaya. We believe in
Struggling
you.
to insert the dagger between the slit between the drawer and the desk itself. Jadir is going to say, "The fuck is a papaya?"
What is a papaya?
It's a fruit.
Oh,
But
You guys have
Can
never
somebody
had
help me with
papaya?
this?
I've never
No.
had papaya. Is it good?
What do you need help with, Jadir?
I'm obviously trying to break into this thing.
This wood is surprisingly sturdy, and he says, kind of like knocking on the side of it.
Can I have another try?
Hear that
with
sound? Despite the age, this is nice wood.
Wait,
It's not
quick
quite
question.
what I want.
Wait, actually, interesting question. Does anyone have anything that is fairly blunt?
I do have the quarterstaff.
All right. Wait. Can someone try to? Who's the strongest out of us, actually?
Definitely me. I mean, no offense.
That-
You guys are kind of weak and pathetic. I've trained all my life
I
to
would
face
like to
the
say I'm
threats of
just-
the world.
I would like to say I'm just a bit more flexible than strong, but yes. Could smart thing before we start bashing? Should we take this out so we don't accidentally put it on the other floor?
No, I'm quite good where I'm at right now.
Well, what if the floor gives while you're trying to bash this thing in, or?
I think that's a risk we have
That'll
to
be fine.
take.
All right. So
I say
why
moving
don't-
it
Seems
around is
sturdy
just
enough,
as bad.
Francesca says, kicking the floor.
But okay, can someone try to smash it and see? Perhaps it might be magically protected. That's why it is.
Jadir's not gonna give a damn. He's already wedged the dagger in and is
Yeah,
trying
you're able
to
to get
dislodge
to
it.
wedge. Yeah, roll a strength check.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
And Francesca's gonna grab your hands and help you, so you can roll with advantage.
8.
So the two of you guys, Francesca, or I guess Franz, leaning over the side of the desk from up the top, you kind of kneeling down on the bottom. He's like pressing down and you're pulling down. You're trying to do this. The dagger actually gets bent a little bit. Not like very much, but just like ever so slightly in the side, wedged into this spot between the box and the desk. Like Franz is like, God damn it!
Really quick question: is there any blunt object around? Just like old broken stuff that is like seems fairly hefty and blunt.
You could definitely go check the pile of weapons and tools in the
No, that's
storage
too-
facility.
That's too rusted. Franz, can you do me a favor? Can you try just smashing it with your shield using the blunt part so you don't break your shield?
I don't think I can smash through sturdy wood.
Yeah, but we're just trying to see if it does any damage whatsoever.
All right.
Just
He
try
takes
to.
his shield and does like some elbow slams with the shield on his elbow into the side,
Don't go hard enough.
rolling a
with that.
natural 1. The shield slamming into this desk, and then just, oh, my funny bone. Ooh. Ooh. Can I get a calm emotion?
No, you're off those drugs for now. Just. Can I
He's just like bouncing around on one foot, holding his funny
Oh,
bone.
fuck this. I go to the weapon stack, I grab something that's either a mace or something, take a couple of them with me, and I'm just, fuck it, and I try to smash it in.
All right, roll an attack, and add Actually, just roll. Yeah, just roll an attack. Add your. You're proficient with simple weapons, right?
Yeah, I'm simple with them.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, simple. Yeah.
So your rapier attack should be the same.
Yeah, but I'm using strength.
You're using strength. So yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to.
You can add proficiency plus strength. Yeah.
Because I don't want to do the same thing he did to the dagger to my weapons.
Your dagger still does the same amount of damage, though. It's just a little bit ugly now, Jadir.
I still don't want to ruin. You know, it's a
Lovely.
It's a nice rapier. So that is honestly just a strength check plus proficiency. So that would be 14 plus 3, so
Oh.
17.
17. You take this mace and you're like, ah, fuck it, and you just smash it directly into this desk. The wood splintering under your first bash. You bring it up again, slam it back in, and slowly it's like chopping down a tree with a spiked club, but eventually through sheer force you break through the exterior, and the drawer falls off its hinges, clattering to the ground, the contents spilling out, numerous amounts of papers, and a golden locket fall out.
Oh, can I pick up the golden locket and look at it?
You immediately grab the shiny thing and hold it in your hands.
Of course, I like shiny things. Is there anything interesting about it?
It appears to be openable, and it also appears to be in very good condition. It appears this drawer has preserved the contents of the box very well.
I'm expecting to see a picture inside it. So can I open it?
You can.
Nice. I will do such.
You click it open, expecting a picture, perhaps something like the woman on the wall. And as you open it, you find that it's actually a watch. A broken watch. But it looks to be... it stopped sometime around 2:30.
I kind of like... Oh, it's just a watch. I was kind of expecting a bit of a story here.
It's a really nice watch, though.
It is a nice watch. Does anyone want to watch?
I'll have one.
Yeah, it's broken, but, you know, I hand him the watch. I start looking through the papers.
So going through the papers, a lot of them just appear to be mundane records, but one of them catches your eye. It's the one with the last... the papers are currently organized chronologically, and that of the last date. I mean, after you manage to gather the papers back up a little bit, the last date of this paper, or the most recent date in this collection, was around 250 years ago. And this ship was on a trading mission going to some place called Bloomhaven, looking to deliver a shipment of food and weapons to someone named Dominus Evere.
Not a history bard. Does anyone know this name? Dominus, what is it? Dominus guy. What was the last name, by the way?
Evere.
Evere, yeah.
YVR.
Vivere, alright.
Never heard of the guy.
What about you, Franz? And stop touching your funny bone.
Natural 20 for Franz.
Hey! Sword Saint strikes again.
I have heard of Dominus. It's an old legend. Dominus Evere. He was the old Jarl of Bloomhaven, I believe, during its conception, on the frontier of the wilderness as it was first being explored. There were colonies moving in from the eastern side of the wilderness, if I recall correctly from my history lessons back in the day. And as the colonists were coming in, the region was home to various tribes of orcs and goblins who just completely terrorized the people trying to survive in their new home. And Dominus was a warrior, though, a warrior of legend, and across many great battles he slew the evil race with his sword of fire, reducing them to ash and protecting the colonies. And the sword was named the Ashen Blade, and there was an order of knights founded under his name.
Well, I have good news for you, Franz. Your legend over here was apparently real.
Of course it was. There's a reason it's taught in history books.
Oh, you're talking
Well,
about
I
different...
don't see any knights around, so I don't think it's very relevant for now.
Definitely, but it is interesting, at very least. At least we know who it... Well, technically what it's related to.
It's just 250 years ago.
Well, yes, the person is most likely very much dead. Unless they were an elf. Kind of thinks for a moment. Was he an elf?
Going through the papers, you were able to discern there's a list of people on the crew. The captain was named Barl Yaman.
That is very similar to... Are they from the north? That sounds very northy.
It is a northern name, from your experience as you grew up there. You have known some people named Barl.
Like, oh... Well, definitely not an elf if you ask that name. So... They're pretty much very, very dead right now. So... I guess... Do you guys like collecting paperwork? Actually, there might be a collector.
Do I look like I...
Well, think about it. If
You
somebody
look
wants-
like the type who would like to be scholarly.
To be fair, he does look like that, yes.
You just like a frown and an immediate sense of frustration washes over the guy. Yeah, yes. Exceedingly so.
But yes, well, I'll hang on to them. We might find a collector that's interested in old documents. And in the worst case, we can give someone that to be on their good grace.
Well-preserved historical documentation might actually be something of value to scholars.
Well, oh dear, then we might actually want to keep that away from a certain someone.
What?
Well, your other half is technically a scholar, in a way. Well, he is one, but...
A scholar of dark things.
I think he would find this boring, actually, when I think about it.
Exceedingly so. As
Yes.
do I. Can we get on with that hut thing?
Oh, sure. Do you want to have it outside or inside?
Inside?
Please, not
Well,
outside.
Well, think about it
Another
like this. If it...
enormous crash of thunder rattles the boat.
Oh, well, here's the thing. If we do it in here and the boat collapses, we will technically be trapped until the spell ends, and then it will collapse on us.
It seems fine.
Can we just like scooch the hut from the inside? Like a chair going like whoop, whoop.
No, keep in mind, it will be stationary. And it will... I highly recommend that we do it outside, as other creatures have a hard time seeing it.
I'm sorry, but the visual of us basically standing on what amounts to a very large carpet with 3 horses trying to...
I kind of just look,
If we all jump at once,
Franz, I wish that I had your way of thinking.
Oh,
Like,
hello now.
he's a good horse, a fine steed. He can jump.
but yes, let me put it this way. If we're outside, the rain and the thunders won't touch us through the spell. And plus, it's safer because we will see if anyone is approaching.
Look,
And they will
we'll
have
get
hard
wet
time-
on the way there.
I don't want to get
Who's
wet.
gonna approach
Yeah.
us?
Why don't we just do it in the entrance area?
Okay, entrance area sounds nice. Easy way to get the horses and easy way to get them out.
All right.
All right. So sled cover, and in the worst case it collapses, we still have a way out. All right, so I'm going to look
You
at
guys
the spell.
return to the entrance area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can fit up to 9 creatures of medium size. And if I remember right, horses count as medium-sized creatures.
They are large.
Are they?
They are.
They're pretty big.
Horses are big. Have you seen a horse?
I know. Well, Icelandic horses are quite small, just bulky.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. The dwarf horses of the world.
I'm just imagining, like, everyone in Iceland, instead of
They're very
cars, they
stout.
ride around on ponies.
To be fair, we have horse roads around
Yep,
some
yep.
parts of the city. Like, no joke, we have horse roads around some part of the city.
Really? Like, in
Yeah.
2021, you have horse roads in the city.
Well, not like downtown city, but like next to the road, there's sometimes like horse paths where just horses go along.
Oh,
with
like
the road.
horseback riding through the forest. Not like for actual transportation.
Yeah, but not for transportation. No, people do it
Yeah.
for fun, and it's there's a very huge horse culture.
People ride around through the forest on my island sometimes.
Yeah, there's a huge horse culture here,
All right.
which is interesting. 'cause
Anyway, back to the game. You guys are currently sitting around with your 3 normal-sized large horses in the entrance area.
Yeah, they would have to be inside the boat then, since otherwise the spell fails. So they would have to be not allowed in.
All right. Well, they stink anyway.
It takes about 1 minute to cast. It's a ritual, and it's a 10-foot radius hemisphere, and it lasts 8 hours. Until the spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside of any color you choose, but it is transparent from the inside.
Okay. What's your color? This is a major decision, dude.
I know. What is the color of the boat? Like, what is the majority of the
Wood
color?
color? Dark
Wait,
brown?
No, I'm just talking about, like, is it not painted at all? That's what I'm thinking.
It's not painted. If it was painted, it would have been painted with some sort of finish.
Nah. Yeah, then it's just, I'll try to mimic the color of the boat as much as I can, so from a distance
Yeah.
it just looks like a
You
part
could
of
even
the
have
boat.
it be like a cool boat camo with like wooden planks.
Oh my god, boat camo, yes!
300
Our-
IQ.
Our tiny hut is camoed. Military camo.
All right, you gather everyone around and prepare to cast your spell, holding your hands together, and then out, and then oop, you just like bring your hands up together to form the A in the YMCA over your head as you sing your bardic song, and the hut erupts out of the ground, enveloping you in this warm and comfortable environment, shielding you from the wind that's been blowing into the breeze, blowing into the boat from outside. You can hear the sound of rain hitting the side from just blowing in from that like sideways rainstorm basically in the entrance.
Also, the interesting thing is, since I've not allowed the horses to go in, they can't run off in any way, because they can't go through the hole.
Well, they're also tied up, but yes.
Well, let's be fair, the boat is as sturdy as... kind of like...
It's not a
Flashback.
Scooby-Doo bridge, but it's sturdy enough.
It might as well be. But yeah. After I make that, it's like, so, we got some time to kill. This thing will last for 8 hours, so if you want to take a long rest, now should be it.
Franchester falls asleep instantly.
I do
Poor
have a
man
question.
has had a long day.
I do have a question, though. See, the spell is under that... It's Franz that is the one that is allowed. Does that mean if he turns, does he immediately get thrown out?
I don't think so.
Oh! Well, that confirmed it.
His eyes open. He's looking back and forth. He looks at you guys, who obviously see him, and then continues to pretend to sleep.
Also, your other side might have been a bit addicted to calm emotion spell.
Don't bet.
Really? Can I try it?
I just ever.
You happy now?
I want to be
Sure.
calm, baby.
Sure, why not? At this point, I might as well be a drug dealer.
Yeah. Calm emotions.
I guess calm emotion on him.
He's kind of like doing a little dance, waiting to get calmed, and then you cast calm emotions on him, and you instantly. That's good. Yeah. You should try some of this shit, Jadir. This is really nice.
No.
Come on, you want to be cool like the other kids.
How did I become a drug dealer?
Try some of this calm emotion.
Maybe some other time.
Come on, man. Just once.
So, Francesca,
Yeah, man.
it's
What's up?
it's raining like crazy outside. There's plenty of thunder.
Ooh,
Do you think we're
relax.
gonna have lots of storm glass outside? Or this seems like a very simple affair. We just pop outside, dig some
I
up,
don't
and
really know anything about storm glass, man. I mean, I know it forms when lightning hits the thing and the salt, but I don't know if that's gonna happen outside. It sounds pretty rare and maybe from like more dangerous areas. Oh, that's right, man. It only forms because there's different magical energies in different parts of the sky, and some of it is like stronger than others. Storm glass doesn't. It's not normal lightning. Normal lightning is gonna strike the salt flats all the time. It's the special lightning you're looking for, my dude.
When did he just become a stoner? He just became a stoner. Is my
Lovely.
calm
All
emotion a weed spell? Oh my God.
okay. Are you gonna stay up and look after? And in air quotes, Jadir says things.
Well,
He's
it might be,
stroking
but
his beard in thought.
well, we're going.
Do you guys? That was good. That was nice. Thanks. Do you guys mind if I do a small blood ritual while you're asleep?
Will any of the blood be our blood?
No. Do you need that horse over there?
We need the horse, yes.
Oh,
sadly.
fuck.
Unless you want to walk.
Cause
There's
like,
this strange creature we
You-
killed. It's in the other room.
really?
You
Oh
can use
shit. Wait, how do I get out of this thing?
You just walk in. The spell knows that you are you, so you can walk freely in and out.
Ah,
but other
sick.
creatures can't.
He strides out of the hut. Can you guys see through it?
Yes,
Okay.
it's transparent.
You see him run off down the hall, and like kneel down next to this corpse of this just explosion of black bile and scales, and he's like poking at it and then like licking his finger, sniffing it, and then begins prodding at it with various tools in his back pocket, which one of which, Jadir, you notice to be the rod that he tested your horns with.
Lovely.
Can I stick my head out? How long will that take you, by the way?
Oh, you just go to sleep. I'll wake you guys up in the morning.
All right, don't go anywhere, by the way.
Here comes the Baylor.
You have fun with the corpse.
I think.
That was a
You're not
joke.
leaving.
That was a joke. No Baylors.
Are we just gonna ignore him?
Honestly, that I kind of pull the head in so it doesn't hear. Honestly, that is the best choice.
All right. So both of us are just going to go to sleep. Is that it?
The spell lasts for 8 hours, and we both require 8 hours rest.
That's a really bad idea. All right. Whatever. It's your funeral.
Well-
Not mine.
Well, yes, but think about it like this: he can't really take the horses out.
You wake up and all the horses in Francesca are gone.
I would be impressed. Well, actually, I'm not that impressed. He could just bash out the walls, but that would risk killing himself.
Anything
honestly,
to sabotage your campaign.
Anything to sabotage.
Oh my god. Fuck it. Jadir gives up and goes to bed.
Alright, you guys going to bed?
Yeah.
Alright. The night passes. You awaken to find your friend, either Franz or Francesca, you can't tell yet, passed out inside of the hut.
Yeah.
The storm is over. And by over, I mean there's no more rain.
The lightning's still there, but at least the rain is gone. Woo!
Alright.
Yeah, yes, the 10-hour thunder, no rain.
Yes.
But so are we just waking up at the same time then, or?
Yeah, you guys wake up. And actually, as you wake up, the hut is beginning to kind of dissipate around you and flow back down into the ground. An unusual sight this morning. Normally, you're used to being greeted by a morning sunrise, but on this particular morning, you are greeted by rays of sun in a different sense. You can see off in the very far distance what looks to be some sort of swirling vortex, this hole in the storm, and you can see these rays of sun beaming down brighter than anything you've ever seen, very far off in the distance, away from the city of Khasea, which is now this larger looming city in the distance.
My only thought is like, oh, the death ray is here.
You think this special kind of lightning is gonna be around there?
I don't know. That's honestly, I kind of like nudge our multi-personality friend disorder. Anyways, I kind of nudged him.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so it's you. So are you aware what that is? I kind of point at.
Oh, wow, look at that. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. Looks to be some sort of break in the storm. Perhaps the eye?
Well, here's my thought on this. That is like unusually bright.
I agree.
Do you guys want to go close to that, or should we just completely avoid that?
I think we should head closer. If anything, we want to get near the weirdness.
Very well. Let's hope that it is not a murdering ray.
Alright, we should head out immediately then. If we make good pace, we can probably get there and perhaps to the city on the same day.
Jared, you mentioned that you were interested in using maps and such. How's that going along?
Well, I haven't really checked out the map too much.
He hasn't opened the map once since you guys left the city.
No, I have checked the map. I just haven't had any moment of like literally looking over everything.
And in fact, you look down to go investigate your map and compass and find that your beautiful, well-crafted golden compass has fallen off your person while on your horse, and you didn't even notice because you never checked your map.
Wow. So I have no compass.
You have no compass. That was a really expensive compass too. You're violently frustrated.
I sense the DM is a bit pissed at my earlier comments. Is that...
Oh my god, please no.
Man, I spent the time stealing that.
You do have a really nice map of the area, though.
But I don't have a compass, so I don't know which way we're facing.
But do you need a compass? I have a spare. Francesca hands you a completely ordinary, lame compass that is not encrusted in gold.
To completely despise the DM, my character doesn't care at all.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Good!
What is going on?
We're having an argument over a
Dan's
compass.
character is aggressively addressing the Overlord of the Universe. In his head.
See.
I'm happy.
This
Not
map
every-
reading thing seems to be very difficult.
Oh my.
Does this always involve this kind of spell? You chant and mutter to yourself.
Yes, don't worry about it. I'm just cursing the creator of the universe.
Oh,
You know, as you do.
as you do.
Yeah, but it's basically just we have the wilderness.
Well,
we have the wilderness.
As Gerald is trying to toy with the map, I kind of want to tinker with the watch, see if I can open it up, possibly see why it stopped working.
All right. You open up the watch. Are you proficient with machinery at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Roll an intelligence check with disadvantage to see if you can even get it open. Or not like open, but like open the mechanisms.
8.
8. Through a fair amount of time, maybe messing with this for 5 minutes, you know, like that feeling when you're sure you're just missing something. You're trying to find where the back of the remote to put the batteries in or something, and you just don't know how to open it, and you feel really dumb. It's like something like that kind of feeling. But eventually, you manage to get this open, and you can see inside gears that have just appear to have stopped working. There appears to be no internal damage. The gears look to be in good shape, and the machinery appears in good condition, although for someone not trained in machinery, all you're able to tell is at a cursory glance there is no visible damage rather than a physical malfunction within the placement of the machinery.
I have no idea what's wrong with this thing.
Well, it might have
Alright.
just stopped working. But from the
Okay, where are we going? What are we doing?
Perhaps
Well-
someone proficient in machines could get it working again.
But Gerald is like, well, if we go their way, we just have to turn that way, and basically we're then on course. It will take us. How long would the
You guys-
speculation be?
You guys could investigate the light ray area and make it to the city in the same day.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to go check the ray that might possibly kill us?
Well, yes, that's what I was suggesting earlier. I don't even need a compass for that.
Well, I'm more checking just so we don't go off, a cliff.
There's literally nothing but miles of absolute 0-degree flat land around you as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, but he's just saying it as, I don't know this area.
Your horizon is salt flats.
You never know. It's, okay, I'm more thinking of like seashells, like in the desert. Like random holes in the ground that might possibly be there.
That could perhaps be a danger. You have
That's
noticed
what I'm
one or two, not dangerously large, but crevasses within this salt flat.
Yes.
In fact, the ship
That is-
itself is wedged within one.
Wait, what?
Yeah, man. I told you guys in the beginning, the ship is
Oh,
wedged
my-
into a crack.
Oh man, I just thought that it like.
It's
from
not
the
like a
impact-
canyon. Like, if you guys fell through the bottom of the boat, you wouldn't die.
Okay, I just had a moment of like, wait, what? Because
I
thought
don't
it
think
was-
that we're going to fall through the earth.
Especially since you guys aren't in the boat anymore.
Does France say that?
No, gear packed up. Horses mounted. You guys get ready to ride off and stop twiddling around in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
It's important to make good time if you are to
I will
realistically
yip
achieve your
away.
goals for the day.
But twiddling around with our thumbs is what we do best.
I know. We love you for it.
There was so much pain in that reply.
I know. I love that.
But yes, we will yip away.
All right, you guys yip away.
Yip, fuck yeah.
The three figures riding on horseback across the salt flats towards this beaming light ray off in the distance. Eventually you make your way to it, and you can see, as you get closer, it looks like you can see it's as if someone drilled a circular hole down through the cloud barrier. And it's probably at least several hundred feet tall, this cloud barrier, and above it you can see the sun is not directly overhead, yet the intensity of light rays coming down as you guys enter into this, it's like walking from like a cold, brisk area directly under this blazing heat. It's probably 120 degrees Fahrenheit, but for you people who use smart people metrics, I don't know, that's probably somewhere around 55 Celsius. It's really hot.
So it is slightly hotter than the hottest hot tub. So it's basically like a desert in this thing.
Yeah. It's a blazing heat, and you can see that on the ground, the water that, because the eye has been very slowly moving around, and the small pools of water stored on the salt flats, as the heat of this eye of the storm passes over, you can see it beginning to steam slowly, and as it moves over, the water over the course of like 30 seconds evaporates up into the sky.
So, I don't want to walk into this.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll stay for a little bit. See what's up.
Last time I checked, tieflings are better with heat than us humans.
All right, it doesn't mean I like getting drenched in sweat.
I don't like
This is
getting cooked alive.
Still a new suit. Right, so you wear a hat.
Oh, I would, but someone made me get rid of it.
All right, anyways, we shall proceed onwards.
All right, are you guys walking into the...
I will lead the horse into the beam
Will the
of
horse even want
sunlight.
to
Yeah.
go in?
All right, you are immediately hit with a searing wave of heat. It's not something like unnaturally damaging. It's approaching the limit of what you could. I mean, you're a tiefling, so not so much. But for a human, this is probably the limit of what a human could take without starting to develop burns very quickly. You feel a weight on you as you walk in, something that it triggers a sense that you weren't entirely sure you had, or if you were, it's something that you've only experienced on rare occasions. It's like this magical tingling sense, not a literal form of tingling, but as if there was some sort of magical sense inside of you that could sense pressure. It is sensing magical pressure upon you as you walk under this light.
All right, it's not catastrophic, I think we can spend some time over here.
My question is, how is the horse dealing with it? He is leading the horse in there.
The horse appears uncomfortable, but it's not like bucking or anything.
Just a quick trip, in and out. 20 minutes at most.
The area is probably only about 500 feet in diameter. It's not huge, but it seems to be like this is the eye of the storm, and it's drifting very slowly as the entire area around the salt flats is one enormous storm. And you can see that in this eye of the storm, it's almost like imagining looking up from the inside of a gas giant, these enormous swirling clouds. And there's actually some really cool like concept art that inspired what this might look like that I'll send you guys later, but it is awe-inspiring actually, despite the uncomfortableness of the heat and the pressure.
All right, very well.
Just get this over with and,
Yes, I bring the horse in.
not sightseeing.
How uncomfortable is it being in there for a human?
You walk in, I think, just imagine the hottest environment you've ever personally been in, and it's probably just a little bit hotter than that. Like the hottest day of your entire life. Like out of game.
As soon as I walk into it, I'm like, and now I immediately hate you. It's just like, why did it have... We're in the rain. We were in the rain. I prefer the rain. And he's like just complaining as he's walking through it.
Oh my god. Alright, shall we get, a suntan and explore? See if there's anything weird going on?
You guys are kind of moving around the area. You can see, now that you're paying a bit more attention, off towards the edge on the other side of the eye of the storm, you can see a humanoid silhouette, probably like 500 feet off or so. They look to be waving their arms in the air in like a seeking help motion.
All right, let's go see what they want.
Yeah, a bit unusual, but all right.
What if it's another monster lizard thing?
But then we leave. We have horses, they don't.
Okay, promise?
Yes.
It could be worse. It could be a giant weasel.
Worse than
Sounds
monsters.
like the Weasel Thigh Man is equipped to deal with such a threat.
I know.
If he took it as his name.
I know. Oh, so I am hating this heat. What about you?
I do not
I think
like
we
this
should
either.
stay here for an hour.
I would not.
It is a strange sensation. I would not normally like to be in such heat for very long, but it is a nice break from the storm itself.
I miss the storm.
You could walk that way a little bit.
Well, we need to go meet that person that's over there, so I can't really.
All right. Well, let's make it quick then.
Yes.
The three of you guys trot along towards this figure, and as you come close, you can see the corpse of a giant centipede several feet long is laid out before a man with gaunt, cracked skin. His eyes are a putrid yellow, and you can see black veins inside of them. His hair is long and white and disheveled. "You have to help me, servant of Asmodeus. I've been taken by the virulence. It's inside me. I've run away seeking your rifts. I'll sell you my soul. Please cure me. I'm not ready to die." He seems to be talking directly to you, Jadir.
I don't serve Asmodeus. You seem to be looking... What?
Well, you certainly are popular.
I don't know what you mean. I'm not a servant of Asmodeus.
Oh, gods forsake me. I have to find them.
What are you looking for?
A rift. As the servants of Asmodeus.
Do I know the
can't
name?
find a single devil out here.
Oh. So you're one of those people. I'm assuming he's just ignoring us two and simply talking to him.
Oh, you're talking to the dude?
Oh no, I'm just talking to Franz. It's like, oh, one of those people.
This makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, trust me, you'll see a lot more of that once your other half gets a proper place.
Is there a reason why you're in this uncomfortable heat? Have you been here for long?
I found my food. It's here. I eat it here. And he reaches his hand into and pierces into the shell of this dead centipede, and just like rips out just like a chunk of like twisting like bug meat, and just like dripping down his face.
So the corpse is fresh then?
It is.
Well, we can't judge. Bugs are delicacy in some countries.
Do you care to have a taste then?
Oh, no. Just because it's a delicacy doesn't mean I'm going to try it.
Please,
At least not raw.
The
How do
virulence
we
has
help
me.
you?
I'll sell you my soul.
What would I do with that?
I could help you for free. No, I don't need your soul. What do you need?
The cure.
Are we talking like a special cure or just...
You're gonna have to be more specific.
The virulence. I have the virulence.
Yes, you told
Okay.
me.
You see my
It
eyes,
is- Yes.
my skin.
I can't help you if you don't tell me how.
You don't have the cure.
Do I look like a medicine man to you?
I thought you were a servant of Asmodeus.
Whatever.
I think he's going to
All right. Shall we get a move on then? I don't think there's much that we can do to help.
And he just like throws up just blood and more of this centipede just like spilling out of him as before he tries to grab more centipede and stuff it down his throat.
You know, I feel bad just leaving him here, though.
I don't. Shall we look for strange magical crystals in the ground while we're here?
Sure, do I know who Asmodeus is, by the way? Or is that, like, something that is not...
You would know who Asmodeus is, as you have some experience with demonologists. Jadir would probably know who Asmodeus is because he's a tiefling.
So... My thought on this is... Do we just leave him here? He is a servant of Asmodeus.
No, he's looking for servants. Possibly is one. I don't know. Maybe he's sick. I don't want to catch it. Look, he doesn't seem to be made from storm glass, so I don't care.
He might be powerful, though, if we have a favor for him, but that's kind of...
I asked him how we could help him. He wasn't being specific. It's bloody hot in here. Let's get out.
All right. Yeah, there's that one. I just felt like, well, best of luck on finding the cure, I guess.
He just
Bye.
looks at you with solemn eyes as you ride off.
Should we just have him follow us from a distance? Like a lot
No.
of... All right. Well, that's right. He's looking for Asmodeus. That is usually not good news. So, maybe we're doing the world a favor.
Judea's gonna direct his horse towards the city proper, and while we're moving away from the eye of the storm, sort of scan the ground if there's any anomalies, I suppose.
Make a perception check.
Uh, 14.
14. Riding around the ground, or riding along the ground, moving towards the city, looming in the distance, you find no discrepancies on the ground that you ride in, and certainly no glowing crystals or anything that would indicate glass.
So, just head towards the big old ruins then, yes?
Yeah. So, moving forward, after several more hours, as probably 4 o'clock is beginning to roll around, you can see resting atop a gentle slope, Khasea looms before you. City walls that have crumbled long ago lay scattered at the perimeter of the city. Riding up the slope, the salt flat gives way to dirt once more, which is a sight for sore eyes. Reaching the city, you begin your slow march through the ruined streets, which have all but been reduced to mud and rubble. Vines and weeds grow rampant. You have yet to see a single soul when a hunched over figure carrying a cane begins slowly walking towards you. It looks like an old woman with pimples and moles all over her face. "Begone, spirits! Begone!"
Is she talking to us, or?
Yeah, she's addressing you guys directly.
Well, I'm not really a spirit. I hate to break it to you.
You're not ghost riders?
Well, no,
no.
I'm a normal rider, as you would like to say.
What?
Look, I kind of put my hand on my wrist. It doesn't go through.
You're a traveler?
Well, yes.
Yes, we are.
Oh, why on Alavar would you come to this forsaken place?
Oh, you know, tourism and other such things. I hear the weather this year is lovely.
My name is Judea. Who are you?
I am Greta.
And what are you doing over here, Greta?
I'm warding off the ghost riders with my charm. And she holds up a mundane necklace.
Oh, has it proven to be effective?
I don't know. I've
Jonesy-
yet to be slain by one.
Well, then you're doing the public a wonderful job.
Have you ever come across one of these ghost riders?
Yes, the spirits of our warrior ancestors come to haunt us for our sins against the Pale One.
All
You
right.
see, I kind of would...
When does this happen? This regular occurrence?
They come, they go. There is no schedule.
So,
All right.
do we just, Well, I hate to break it to you, but we've not really seen any ghosts on the way here.
Then you are lucky. It's a lucky bunch. You may not be able to leave the city before you encounter such a thing. And your way out, if you ever make it.
So, quick question, out of curiosity. You know that big, glowy, round thing, middle of the storm?
The eye.
Do you know what it does?
It passes over the city every once in a blue moon. Brings great heat. The clouds shield us. The clouds shield us from the wrath of that magic.
All right. Well, that is, just figured if there was anything else about it other than the blazing heat.
We met a strange man inside the storm's eye. He had putrid yellow eyes. Was looking for servants of Asmodeus.
Oh,
Said he had-
stand back! You might have the virulence too now.
Oh no, we didn't go close to him.
Wise indeed.
What is this virulence?
It spread from beneath the castle. And you can see behind her this large castle that was probably the centerpiece of the city. The fungus beneath the castle. Our food can also come with terrible sickness. The hunters
You eat it.
It's the only source of food we have. Our curse and our blessing. If you travelers are going to stay, you will get used to mushrooms.
I don't intend to stay for long.
But, out of curiosity, how do you avoid such sickness?
We don't know. Once in a great while, one of our hunters becomes infected, and if we do not exile them, they will turn into a hideous abomination and slay us all.
Ooh, well, I have some bad news. One of the guy that is infected, well, he seems to be puking his guts out. Is that like the final stage?
Yes, Hans. Hans was exiled but 3 days ago.
I kind of described what he looked like, and I described the person that we saw.
The poor man. I pity his soul.
Well, he might not have one soon. He really wants to meet Asmodeus.
Perhaps a servant of the great devil could cure him.
I'm a bit iffy on that one. Bit iffy. But, our first and more furthermost thought is how to avoid getting this evil sickness.
I would stay out of the mushroom catacombs.
Okay. So, go nowhere near mushrooms, basically.
That sounds simple enough. Greta, we're looking for storm glass.
Oh, you are just a hunter. One of the Tempest.
What is the Tempest?
The Tempest horde, those stray souls who came out here, corrupted by the greed and wealth of the glass.
Oh, no, we just need it for a tool that uses it. So we just need like one piece.
Is there nowhere else we could find it? Is anybody here in charge?
There is no one in charge here, not for 100 years at least. History fades.
Well...
Are you with the Tempest Horde? You're
I don't
travelers. You come here.
We are not.
Are you
But perhaps they could
with
help
the
us.
order?
We don't know what that is.
We literally just came here a few days ago.
Have you come to avenge the clerics?
Okay, just so you can be perfectly clear, we just arrived with only the current mission of finding the glass to power a tool that is required to save my friend's life over here. And
Why would the clerics need avenging? What happened?
The clerics were devoured by the Pale One.
oh, that is ominous.
And who is that? Who is the pale one?
The Pale One. The Pale One is the god. The Pale One came but a year ago and devoured all the Tempest clerics of the Storm Empress Valyria.
Wow.
None enter that forsaken ground now. The Pale One spoke to one individual, at least as she claims, Noelle, and some crystal.
Storm glass, by any chance?
I don't know. But you must watch yourselves, or the Pale One will devour you for your sins.
Oh, I think we're on quite a big of list on sins, to be fair.
It will find you. The Pale One will find you if you do wrong to him.
What if we find him first?
I don't think that's necessary. I mean,
I know, I'm just wondering. How would he react if we found him first and he's like, oh, you found me? Well, I was going to look for you, but you found me.
I think that might be a bad idea. So, this Tempest, are they still around? Are they all dead now?
The Tempest clerics were devoured a year ago. Now it is the Church of None, and none must go there, lest they invoke the wrath of the Pale One who will return. You must repent for your sins!
What sins should we repent for?
Angering the Pale One is a grievous crime. You must not. Stay
All right,
hidden, stay away.
And what angers the Pale One?
Consumption of more than you must.
That might be a problem.
I think that's only a problem for you.
You must
What
say
about
your
you, Brad?
prayers every night. You must keep
Well,
the Pale One at bay, lest he devour you.
Is
we
this a
haven't-
new tradition? Have we been doing this for only a year? Or is this a long-standing thing?
Any being who can devour all the clerics in their holy land under the protection of their god must be something greater. The Pale One is greater than the goddess of storms. The Pale One is all. Praise it, praise it.
That aside, have you seen any lizards with, mouths like multiple daggers and other such things? Like
There are
spin?
horrible monsters in the flats. You must not leave the city again. You will die.
Well, we know we will eventually die, but, do they move in herds? Did we get lucky? Oh yes, by the way, we did kill one of those. So, can we expect something bigger than that lizard with a razor mouth?
she looks up at you, one of her eyeballs larger than the other, giving you like this inquisitive look, and says, "We don't know what lies beyond, only that it is horrid and monstrous. The flats will claim those who travel out unprepared. Stay safe, little children."
I feel that's a bit offensive towards Franz.
Franz is currently just sitting on his horse behind you guys, letting this play out.
Franz, how do you feel about this whole thing?
Who's Noel?
Noel?
The prophet of the Pale One. The Pale One spoke to her.
And is she around?
Yes, she lives at the edge of the district.
Are there any mushrooms around the city?
The mushrooms are all below the castle. The hunters who live in the castle go after the mushrooms and bring them back to us for food.
I think we should go talk to this Noel.
Yes, that might be smart, you know. That is, if she's even gonna meet us, after all. How does
Doesn't
this
look
Noel...
like people get a lot of visitors here.
Yes. How does this Noel look like, by the way?
Terribly scarred. Terrible scars on one side of her face.
Alright, noted. Terrible scars.
Long braided hair.
Long braided hair.
A good woman.
That doesn't really describe... you know what? Okay, I'll write it down. Good woman. So, horribly scarred on one side, long braids, and is a good woman. So, is she friendly?
No, Gerald, she's a monster. She will accept you should you repent.
Okay, so I'll put friendly as iffy.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Greta.
Take one of these. Fend off the ghost riders from the city. And she holds out like a necklace to you with like some like pieces of stone with holes in them, just like put together. It's like the shittiest necklace you've ever seen. I've blessed it. I've blessed it with the spirits. The spirits.
Thank you, Greta. Do you need anything in return?
Just protect the city from the ghost riders.
We'll try if it comes to that.
Stay safe, children.
Goodbye. Try to be safe, by the way.
Franz just awkwardly steers his horse off to the left and starts walking.
Yeah, I kind of like turn to Ren. Do you think all of the locals are going to be like this? After we're out of earshot view? Ren,
Sure hope not. Are you guys sure this place is worth whatever you're looking for?
Well, think about it like this. If we find a lot of that storm glass, we will basically be rich.
So where is Noel's house?
I don't know where the end of the district is.
I guess we're going to have to ask the locals. Also, I have an idea that I think might be smart. Any valuables we should honestly put in the magical bag over there. Well, we don't know how handsy the locals might be.
Certainly, put anything you need in here.
Anything valuable that you don't want to be
For
yoinked?
now, let's just have a look around, see if we can find this Noel. Well, we might just run into something else.
I put the papers in there and, basically Yeah, stuff that I don't need. I think it's just the papers. When I really think about it, most of what Gerald cares is just clothes and performance stuff. He doesn't really have much valuable on him.
All right, so you guys are kind of walking through the city on your horses, kind of trotting through these ruined houses all around you. Most of these houses have either collapsed or in poor repair. It seems that there's probably a decent number of these homes have hastily strapped on repairs, like nailed in wooden planks, large stone blocks that have been carried up and put over holes or pushed over to clog leaks in the side of these houses. One man is currently he's walking out of his house and moving towards this large looming castle in the center of the city.
Good sir, have you seen Noel? Where could we find this person?
Hey, Noel. Hey, I haven't seen you guys around here.
We're travelers. We have just arrived.
Shaking his head, bewildered. You can find Noel. You follow this path all the way around the perimeter of the city, and you guys are currently on this what was probably once a main road, now just reduced to rubble in the dirt, weeds growing out all over the place. Follow it to the very edge, past the Church of None, and to the left of that large reddish house over there.
Out of curiosity, quick question to the DM. Did they ever mention why they haven't left yet?
The people of Khasea?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, okay. So out of curiosity, because, well, most of you don't seem to like this place too much, why do you stay here then?
Leave this place? Go out there? He says, looking out onto the salt flats with lightning striking into the sky. You see kind of a distant figure, a silhouette, moving across what looks to be some sort of four-legged creature, moving across the salt flats with lightning quick speed. Are you crazy?
Well, we made it here fairly safely.
And lucky you.
I'm just surprised that not many of you seem to have attempted to leave.
Plenty people attempt to leave, and plenty people never come back.
Oh, that is a darn shame. Well, you have my condolences. Hopefully one day it will be safe to leave.
Life isn't so bad here once you get used to it.
Really? What do you do for entertainment?
I spend my days hunting beneath the castle. I'm off there now.
Oh, yes, the old woman told us about that. Stay away from the dangerous, diseasey thing.
Ah, yes, the virulence.
Hunting? What do you hunt?
There are great fungal creatures beneath the castle. The fungus, the infections that grow on the walls in the catacombs, that's not edible. But some of the creatures that grow there, the deeper you go, those make good food. There's not much else to eat around here. Nothing grows in this place.
All right, well, best of luck.
Nothing good, at least.
Best of luck. And
Thank you.
Well, yes. Just
Sorry you came here.
Oh, we'll make it out.
Best of luck, friends.
Thank you. Likewise to you. Best hunting.
He walks off. You notice something on his back that you haven't seen before, probably either of you, or maybe perhaps once in a great while. There is a very old musket on his back. He has kind of strapped.
What is that stick on his back? Actually, should I roll a history check because he is well traveled?
Yeah, go for it.
History. There you are. 19.
19. Yeah, so your character knows what a musket is. From what you know, any form of non-bow-based gunpowder-based projectiles are in their infancy as far as non-mad scientists are concerned for mass production.
Yeah. I do believe that is firearm of some sort. Perhaps a musket?
Fire.
Oh, well, so it's a bit interesting. You know how the hand crossbow and the crossbows work?
Yes, of course I do.
Imagine instead of a string, it's an explosion at the end, and instead of an arrow, it is a metal ball. Imagine tiny, it's like a cannon, but made tiny to use with hands. Think of
You
it
can
as a
see
small gun.
Jadir sort of contemplate this. This is for people who don't do magic.
Oh, yes, very much. Well, I've heard stories of people that magically enchant the guns.
Why not just hurl fire then?
Well, because you can just pull it, it shoots, and then cast magic.
Do you mean like I do? All the time?
Well, yes, but the thing is, that thing is very accurate.
And I'm not?
Uh-oh. Gerald's in trouble.
Jadir,
Oh god.
don't take this the wrong way, but you've been on a bit of an unlucky spree the last few days. I
Tends
don't
to happen.
mean... Yes,
I think we completely annihilated that dragon, though, in the boat.
oh yes, that, he was very accurate with that.
Good job, Jadir. You are a warrior of legend. Do not listen to this man.
Thank you, Swordsy. Perhaps you can claim the Church of None for your name.
The Church of Sword Saint Friends. I like
that.
that.
Actually does have a good ring to it. Religion of using swords.
I like it.
But
Alright,
anyways, I do
so
believe we
we,
have a person to meet.
Exactly.
So you guys are moving towards or following this very old road.
Yeah.
As I'm like, before, I'm like, oh, one thing I forgot to mention about the firearm things. They tend to explode if not properly maintained. Anyways, carry on.
Yeah, you guys are moving through the road, which eventually arrives at kind of this larger ruin, what looks to have once been perhaps a marketplace long ago, and then kind of bends off to the left. There is a road that continues forward, although it is less defined. And following the main road, you guys eventually arrive at a small house in better repair than most around here, which makes it stand out from the others. The wear over time on the exterior has been clearly sealed over by some form of artificial mending, though clearly not done by hand. The door has a small window on it that has been recently cleaned, and the state of good repair clashes with the lack of care taken to the weeds and grass that have grown around the area, however.
Well, it is nice looking.
Well, let's strap our horses and knock on the door.
So, who is going to approach her first?
Well, I could.
Definitely, yes. You do that. I will sit in the back and watch as it goes. If
I
she
don't
eats
recall you being such a coward. Oh well.
Well, here's the thing. If the pale one is true,
No,
I'm not
it's
sure.
it's perfectly fine. I'll take care of it.
Okay, just keep in mind, if she does try to eat your soul, there's not much I can do.
I think that old woman might have been a little bit crazy. I don't know about you
I
guys.
know,
I was
but-
getting crazy vibes from her, although
True.
my
Yeah,
people skills
absolutely.
are not entirely 100%, so that might be something normal for adventurers.
It is true, but there is always that slight possibility of it being true, which is always the concerning part.
Jadir hops off his horse and walks down the lane to the front door.
All right. You hop off your horse, dismounting and striding up through a large growth of tall grass, wading up to the front door. You go to knock on it, and then we take a 5-minute break so I can go to the bathroom and get some water and leave you guys suspended in the intensity. You knock on the door. You see a figure come around the corner to answer the door through the small window. The door creaks open to reveal a short, older lady with braided gray hair that goes all the way down to her hips. The entire left half of her face is moderately disfigured, and you can see a scar forming an unnaturally perfect outline around it, with a circular scar encompassing her left eye and stretch marks around at the edges. And who might you be?
I am Jadir Kazrain. We are travelers. These are my companions.
She's like looking like over Jadir's shoulder at these two people who have not approached the house. What can I do for you?
Well, we were led by Greta. We're looking for...
jeez.
I'm sorry, there's something wrong?
Oh no, Greta's just takes things a little bit further.
Certainly the vibe we were getting before. Nevertheless, we're here. We heard some awfully strange rumors from her.
About what?
About the city, something about...
Come in. Can I get you some food and drink?
Just me, or would you prefer my compatriots
your
wait
friends
up?
can come. Your friends can come.
Yes, this is Francesca, and this is Gerald.
Greeting. It is pleasant to see that the rumors aren't really that true. I was a bit concerned on that one.
All right. She beckons you to come in.
I kind of look at Fran. Should I be worried about that hesitation over there?
Some things are true, some things are not true.
Is that what Fran
It is
says?
the nature of reality. Things get twisted, dreams move around, words are changed.
Are you okay, Franz?
Sorry. And I did the wrong voice too. Sorry, it's hard to jump between so many characters.
I know, right?
It's if Francesca is being strangely silent, it's probably because I'm trying to juggle so many things at once. Franz is like, she seems normal enough to me, but cautiously, I have my sword on me in case she turns to be a crazy monster.
You can take it easy.
Well, how do we know she's not...
It's just the manners.
Well, of course. It's a bit concerning of the hesitation. I'm not
Shut up, let's go.
Right, fine.
Jadir just gestures people to follow him into the house.
You guys walk in. The house is filled with tapestries woven in incredibly beautiful designs on ragged and disheveled fabrics. The artistic quality is so great that you suspect that, had these been sewn amongst the fabrics of nobility, the contents of this house would be worth a small fortune.
Oh, I love the look of the place.
Oh, thank you. I worked hard on it.
Oh,
This
really?
is your handiwork.
Have a seat, dearies.
That is very impressive. Can I have a seat just like... I really hope that you're not obsessed with curtains. We met a guy that is.
It's a strange obsession.
I know, right?
In any case, there's strange talk of the Pale One and ghost riders of some kind. This area is quite strange.
Yes, the Pale One, as they call him.
him? Who is this pale one then?
Oh, let me get you some stuff first. It's a long story. I'll go as deep as you want me to, but let me make you something to eat first. And she walks over to a series of shelves host to an ungodly amount of mushrooms, varying in size and shape. Some are almost the size of a dwarf.
That's okay. We have recently eaten.
Are you sure? This is a high quality
Quite
mushroom right
sure.
here.
Yes, we're perfectly fine.
Very well, very well. Would you like some tea?
That's okay as well.
I have some amazing red mushroom tea over here.
That'll be fine, Noel. It's truly don't concern yourself.
All right. You little people are so kind. And she's like significantly shorter than you guys. Very well.
All right.
She pulls up a chair. There's like this small fire in the hearth, and it's only a one-story house, and there's like a set of wooden stairs, clearly handmade, that go up to like a perfectly circular hole in the roof, but it's currently covered. She pulls up a chair with you all. You want to learn about the pale one?
Just a passing curiosity.
Well, I was meditating on my rooftop the night it happened. There's a great tranquility in embracing the storm. I have no doubt it's why I'm still here to tell the tale. But yes, I was lost in my trance of concentration when I saw a tall figure approaching out of the haze of the storm. A particular stormy night it was, that one, for sure. Not many took notice at first. He came in the night, and most people spend their time either hunting beneath the castle or bundled up inside. You, being travelers, likely wouldn't know much of life here in Khasea, but people don't often come out. He was a sight to behold, for sure. I sat there, watching him come closer. A gaunt humanoid figure about 20 feet tall. He had tendrils came out of his back like extra appendages. He wore an odd smile of pointed teeth and stopped at my house to lean down and observe me curiously on the rooftop. I think many would have considered him a terrifying sight, but I met his curious gaze and lifted my head to meet him accordingly. He asked my name, and I told him mine, and I asked his name, and he told me that he was called Plevenguinus. We shared a brief conversation that I will always remember as something special. Of note, he asked me if I had seen a crystal that he was missing, a missing shard of his heart, and he needed it to go home. I asked him what he meant by that, to which he showed me something incredible. His skin became transparent, and I could see the inner workings of his body. They were otherworldly, circular streams of dark violet fluid that moved like vapor through geometric patterns. His torso, though, it was like gazing into a void that I saw no end to. In the center of it was a glowing purple crystal with a tiny piece chipped off from it. Quite beautiful it was. We exchanged several thoughts about it, but I did not know what he sought. I told him that perhaps the clerics of Valeria could help him, though that did not end so well for them.
Well, at least he seems friendly.
Jadir's just sitting completely frozen in terror.
Well, he seems friendly enough. He had a conversation with the lady, and, perhaps the clerics did something that offended him.
Well, we'll never know. The forces of nature come and go, and some cannot be contended with. Such is the way of existence. It's better to sit back and be an observer, rather than trying to force our hand in changing things or worrying about fates that are already destined to happen at the hands of forces beyond our control.
And who knows?
Is he
maybe-
still around?
Oh,
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a year.
Has anybody else?
Not to the best of my knowledge. That probably would have broken quite a stir amongst town. The people here have taken to him religiously.
now,
And is
we-
this the first
no.
time that he's been spotted?
First and only, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, good.
So, quick question about this crystal thing. Describe it again for me, if you may.
I don't know. It was a purple crystal. I had
Just,
some slight hunches at what it could be, though I would never give an uncertain answer to something so magnificent.
that is certainly true. It's just a heart that is a crystal?
I don't think the crystal was actually his heart, although for a creature like that, something beyond this world, for sure. I'm not sure if he had a true heart. The crystal was a part of him.
That is quite curious. How do you feel
Alright.
about this, Judea?
No, we're
Franchester's
looking for-
just looking at you, Jadir, like, Oh, wait, sorry. That would be the wrong Franchester. Never mind.
Okay.
Meta, scratch
Juggling
that.
even
Scratch
the
that meta.
Franchesters.
It's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, I know. Jadir's just gonna ignore that question and simply try to shift the topic.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
No,
that.
We're looking for storm glass.
Stormglass. I would definitely talk to the Tempest Horde about that. Though,
And where could we find them?
might not actually be the greatest idea. They're kind of hostile towards anyone who isn't with them. The looks of you don't seem like the type of people who would fit into that community. Why are you after Storm? Did you really come out all this way for money?
Oh no, quick question though.
It's-
These Tempest people, are you two on a bad term?
The Tempest
Like-
Clerics?
Well, no, you and the Horde.
Oh, no, they're just... They don't know me.
No, I'm talking about like the people of this city. Are you on a bad term? You know, if you meet outside, will they try to, murder you?
Well, if you encroach on their territory without permission, they might be inclined to be violent.
Do they do so
I-
on your territory?
No, they're quite reasonable. They've been working with the Order for the last, which I was unfortunately a part of for a large part of time, but in Khasea, the Tempest Horde began working with the Order some 6 or 7 years ago. A recent formation, actually. The Order was out. They wanted rare reagents that could be found out in the Salt Flats. The Tempest Horde, a group of treasure hunters, basically. Bandits, more or less. They were easily could help with that, and the Order could experiment with them a bit, working with strange mechanical contraptions, tampering with the mechanisms of life that should not be tampered with, and creating machines of unnatural veracity.
Oh, where could we find this horde? I'm sure we could help them in some way. You could part with some of the glass.
Well, it's not hard to find them. If you go to the northeastern corner of the city, there's a large fort that they have built. You'll look for the wooden spikes in the ground. Be wary, though.
I don't know He kind of like leans in to whisper to Jer. I don't know how much we can trust on bandits to keep a deal. Especially to only a couple of travelers.
Well, I mean, sure.
Well, we could try to talk to them, but I kind of feel like we're just asking to get stabbed in the back for that one.
I'd say we can at least hear them out. Everybody in these parts must have needs.
True, but then we're going to have to assure our safety in the meanwhile.
You're right, but will they have what we want?
All right, fair enough. All right, we'll think on that one. So, you said they're not unreasonable. Are they known to betray deals?
They've worked quite well with the Order, at least as long as I was a part of it.
So they're not the type to be like, oh, you've done the thing now, now do it again, otherwise we won't give it to you.
I don't think they would have a reason to do that. The Order has a strong relationship with them.
But what if it was a
you mentioned that they're bandits and thieves and scoundrels.
Even a bandit knows what is best for the good of more acquisition.
Well, with that in mind, I can't help but notice, but your tapestries, well, they're very finely crafted, well made. They must be worth quite a lot. Why haven't they simply stolen them?
Bandits don't raid the town. I don't think that they would imagine there's anything of value in this place. You've seen the city? It's been picked clean of anything valuable long ago.
And granted, I think
these tapestries are fantastic.
The bandits certainly don't know about them. I would appreciate it if you didn't tell them.
Oh, certainly, we won't. Plus, I think they're more interested in the whole storm glass thing than this. I assume that storm glass sells for more.
Yes, these tapestries probably wouldn't go for much in this economy.
Why does it have to always be storm glass for powering things?
Food and water is also currency.
Oh, really?
Sure, anything that isn't a mushroom is a delicacy around this part. I don't think I've eaten anything but mushrooms for the last 7 months. I had one apple in between. That was wondrous.
I'm sure it was. Thank you for your time, Noel. I hope you find more apples.
Thank you. I hope you find Stormglass.
Also, I do hope that you meet that big friend of yours, and hopefully it will...
It was an amazing encounter. To be face to face with the forces of existence.
Oh, definitely. But, yes, we're going to have to be going. We're on a bit of a time schedule, sadly.
Yes, let's leave.
Yeah. It was wonderful meeting you.
Take care, dearies.
And I guess we leave.
You head out of the hut into the light drizzle outside. Franchester holding his shield over his head as an umbrella.
We take our horses and start making our way to the northeast corner. As soon as we're out of earshot, I sort of turn to Gerald, like, what the fuck? It's just, she couldn't be serious, could she?
You mean about the whole man crystal thing?
Levinguinus? 20-foot tall creature with a crystal heart.
Well, think about it. We've seen a giant-ass bird. Honestly, it's not
Alright,
impossible.
birds I can understand. Whatever that thing is. Look, all I'm saying is that sounded eerily familiar.
Wait, familiar?
What's going on?
I don't know. He finds something quite familiar.
Have you seen this entity before, Jadir?
No. Look, She mentioned this thing was missing a piece of its heart.
That is true. Wait,
I think it's what's inside me.
that would be very, very concerning.
What? How could that happen?
It's a long story, not for this time or you ever. Anyways,
Oh, that's a bit of a low blow.
have you forgotten this man is a slave owner?
True, but he is slowly getting reformed.
They deserved it. We conquered them.
Actually, no, they don't. We're going to have to change that whole attitude, by the way.
All right, it's not a problem for now.
Do you not want slaves?
No, it's a horrible, mean thing
Look,
to do.
anyways, pressing matters at hand.
Yeah,
Geometric patterns.
but here's my worry. That thing killed an entire order, God knows why. What will it do to you if it finds out that a missing piece of it is inside you?
Much worse, I imagine.
So, note to self, any giant people we avoid.
I under no circumstances can I have an incident.
Yes, so, anyways, I think that should mean that we should try to hurry out of this place before he might have a return out of who dandy knows why.
They did say it's
I
been a
agree.
year.
Well, what if it's an annually thing?
Good point.
You know, it might have decided, it's been a year, I might go back. And it's like, oh, look.
Maybe there's
see-
more clerics to eat, right?
Well, that, perhaps he ate the other clerics. And,
All right, that's pure speculation at this point. Let's go talk with the Horde and see if they have anything they want.
That makes me nervous.
that does make me nervous as well. I'm surprised
Why?
you're taking this. Well,
Did you hear what she said? Violence.
All right, well,
Also-
then we just turn around.
Well, yes, but here's the thing. Any normal bandit, like with any common sense and tactics, would go, oh yes, let them come in, and now you're our prisoners.
Look,
Slaves,
Francesca,
because they're physically superior.
all right, Francesca, if you're nervous about this, you can tend to the horses.
And leave my comrades? Never.
See, that is good, the slave thing bad. Keep that up. And before you know it, you'll be a true sword saint.
I would die a hero before leaving my men in battle.
Yes. And no slaves, sword saints don't do that.
Right.
Surely
one's
you
coming
enslave
with
your
us.
conquered foes.
No.
That
The
is
honorable-
justice and honor.
Now, the honorable thing is killing them.
What?
For now, I will consider this.
Yes. He kind of like leans in and whispers to Jadir, it makes less trouble if we don't, if he tries to bring slaves along, it's going to make more trouble than it's worth.
By the end of the campaign, you just have like a line of 500 slaves following you as NPCs.
It's like, stop thinking,
Francesca's like, come on, this way, guys! To the mines!
That is my legitimate worry. That
Let's
it's like,
found a town!
It's like, oh, we have defeated a foe. We're about to get information. Meanwhile, Fran, you're a slave!
Throws a Pokeball.
I've had that problem in some campaigns.
Yeah. I'd rather not have a conga line of slaves conquered by Franz, the Sword Saint.
You might have to convince him, but I believe in you guys.
Why do you think I'm starting? Why do you think I'm beginning the conversion?
Alright, so.
I'd rather have him as a bloodthirsty warrior than a fucking slaver.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to take our horses with us to the encampment. I actually think it's like a pretty good idea to leave friends behind.
I will stay behind if that is what you deem best for the group.
Yes, it might actually be quite
Losing our
smart.
horses would be a problem.
Very well. I will
Oh, so-
defend the horse, and I will take this burden upon my shoulders. As night
Yes.
begins to creep in.
It might be smart to find a place where people are not as plentiful.
No, I think this time of day is
There's
best
not
for these
very
kinds
many
of
people
affairs.
at all.
Well, plentiful for this location.
Looking around, you can't see a soul in the streets.
What I'm talking about, it's less people in the open flat area than it is in the city.
Ah. Sorry, misunderstand.
I'm not saying, oh, this place has
This
so
bustling
many people.
city!
No, it's just lower chance of someone either trying to steal it or something.
No one will steal this horse on my watch. For I, the sword Saint Franz, will defend it with my holy might of the religion of Franz. And with that, he falls face first and goes unconscious. Catatonic.
And
Well-
now, of all times,
Hello, Francesca.
Woo! Hey guys!
Welcome back.
Whoa! Look, check this place out.
Okay, so can we ask?
Castle!
Don't go there. There's a horrible disease underneath it that will kill
That
you.
sounds thrilling.
Do you want to die?
Hmm.
Are you seriously shrugging your elbow at the question, do you want to die?
Could be fun. No one knows what happens after death. Unless you
think it's
make like a
best
pact
if-
or something, which I definitely have not done.
Juliet, you deal with this.
look, I think it's time for huts, and
I was
could have a
actually
hut.
thinking, well, hold on, and he starts like digging through like the bag of holding. I could set up a workshop.
we'll
We
find
need a
more
base of
permanent
operations
place.
for sure. Well, where should we set up?
We'll see if we're gonna stay in the city for a while before. Remember, it was supposed to be in and out. Just get the storm glass and head on back, right?
Yeah.
Find any kind of treasure that we can find on the way, and everything is simple.
You want to go
Keep it-
back to Barad Baisa after this?
Yes? You want to set up shop here? Permanently?
This place is awesome.
Oh, we can find better
Just
places.
lightning
though.
streaks across the sky.
Alright, but for now, have you heard of Plavinguinus?
What? Plavanguinus?
Yes.
I can't say I have. It's a cool name, though.
It is a very cool name.
Right. So, a funny thing is, we spoke with a woman. Her name is Noelle. She told us that she met a 20-foot tall, pale humanoid with tentacles on its back. And
His face is
apparently-
Pog right now.
Straight up Pog, man. Straight up Pog.
And apparently it had a crystal heart with a piece missing in it. Something that I think is...
He's just like pointing back and forth between like.
Right. The pointed teeth apparently killed a whole bunch of clerics.
Whoa.
A year ago. So
Let's find it.
let's not.
We speculate that
Maybe
he might
it's
want-
friendly.
Well,
I don't think so.
it
It
might be
didn't. It
friendly.
didn't. It didn't kill Noelle.
Also, it might not kill us two, but it might kill him since he has the missing piece.
Right.
Oh,
this
that would be
creature
so
mentioned,
cool to
yeah.
watch. Just imagine Jadir getting completely ripped open by a 20-foot tall abomination.
See, here's- See, we really are going to have to teach you about something that you should not say that in front of the person that is right there.
I'm sure he agrees with me, right, Jadir?
Once more, Jadir has gone pink.
A way of legends to die. I would tell everyone about it. I promise. Your name would go in the history books as the sickest death of all time.
Look, the whole thing is, this creature mentioned that it wanted to go home. It's apparently not of this world, and, well, it believed the clerics could help him, and when they couldn't, they got massacred. So, I think if it were to learn of my thing,
Or perhaps the.
Well.
Probably best work on this machine ASAP then.
But yes, you were saying?
before we set up shop and whatnot, let's just try to figure out if this horde group has storm glass we could possibly get from them, and if not, I mean, well, we can always steal it from them.
Okay.
What?
How hard can it be? I mean, they're common bandits, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been present.
You know, us
But I
in
trust
the,
you.
Us in the entertainment business called something that you just did there, raising a red flag, that I feel like the both
Where?
of you have just done.
Is that a signal? Where?
Oh no, it's like saying, oh, how hard can it be? And then it turns out to be incredibly hard.
Wait, I'm confused.
I-
I don't see any red flags anywhere.
Oh,
What?
it's not literally.
I'm so lost in what you... In any case, we can always rob them.
Okay, so who would go in that case? Who would go in to do so? Is
You've
it
been
just
really
a moment?
cowardly as of late.
No, it's just, he kind of like has a moment of like, oh, who's gonna do it? Both of them look at him.
No, it wasn't like a you do it alone kind of thing. It was like, well, why not everybody? kind of
Franchester's like
thing.
looking at his bag of holding right now. Alright. What if we set up temporary shop here?
Not
And he points at
right
like a
here.
random, like completely demolished house.
Also, with the coward thing, it is mostly because soul getting stolen from me, and apparently a giant god.
Your soul was stolen?
Oh no, not my soul. It's something that a crazy old lady was talking about.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
two would get along, actually.
No, I
Who
think
is
she
this
has less
lady?
common. Old Lady Greta?
Oh, Greta!
Look, Francesca, promise we'll find you a workspace.
Okay, what am I gonna do in the meantime then?
For now, we rest
Okay. Why don't you make one of those TPs again?
TP?
Toilet paper.
The hut.
Oh, sorry. I get confused sometimes.
How did you... I'm not going to question it. Sure, but what about the horses?
We strap them to someplace nearby. One of us stays up.
I
Has
do have
watch.
to remind that this spell only lasts 8 hours.
All right. Well, I have a tent.
All right, so one of us is going to have to stay awake, and the other person will have to rest in a tent.
What?
Fair play.
Is there not room
I'll
for all
stay
of us
up.
in the tent? What if we just tie up the horses?
No,
what
this
I'm
is
ta-
my tent. It's for me only.
Actually, I do have an idea.
Okay. As long as
How
I get
about
to be in the warm place.
How about this? You take the first watch, then on the last part, sorry. I'll take the first watch, and then once you are done and the spell is over, I'll recast it, and basically, sure, we'll just have to leave a weird dome alone for 4 hours, but should work.
I mean, you can always end the spell whenever you want. Also, I really
Oh, no,
think that I
that-
should
that-
take the first watch.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I can willingly do that. I kind of just leave the spells there once I'm done with them, to be fair.
Oh, you guys are boring. I'm going to bed. And he just lays down in the mud. In the rain.
Oh my god. Can you just
I will cast
get it ready?
Yes, I know. Are we resting here then? Points at
Just
Francesca.
like in the middle of the road.
Is there any place nearby that we could tie the
Drag it.
horses to that's not directly on the road?
Yeah, there's ruins literally everywhere.
All right. Well, we commandeer one of the ruins and set up shop.
I guess I'm the one dragging him, so I'm just like, oh god, why is he so heavy?
Ah! He'll get up if you start dragging him. You guys go, you find a place to set up shop, you tie up the horses, you create your huts, you sit down, go for your watches.
Mm-hmm.
And the night rolls in. I think that is where we will call the session. Welcome to
Nice.
Khasea, babe.
I am very concerned about the whole disease thing.
I'm sure it'll be fine.